Yes, please. Save. Yes. All right, there we go. Mike's good. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Strat Chat. Welcome back. We've got the new year of Pro is fast approaching. It's the 17th of January, and we have our mid-patch updates to look at, which actually kind of interestingly, they released not on Wednesday last week. They put them in on Friday. Kind of bizarre. Normally, they don't want to do changes before the weekend for stability reasons, but of course, they want to get things in while there's maximum amount of play happening. So let's get to it. One of the things that we're going to see as a common theme is that more complicated champions tend to have a harder time early in, we'll call this preseason. Also, comfort picks tend to be much better. Also, people tend to avoid playing tanks. Everyone wants to try out the new damage combination, and they're like, oh, is this the one? Is this going to be the broken thing? Can I do this? So you see a lot more testing out of fringe playable damage champions. We're going to see a couple of those later, and tanks basically are going to go underplayed. Not only that, but the tank items are kind of lackluster. So we'll see whether or not that becomes part of Pro, whether or not that is part of the design, whether or not they just want to try to get more people on carry top laners because it's more exciting and you get the tanks from the engage in the jungle or the support position. So anyways, let's take a peek. Corki, one of the most complicated champions as far as build paths. It's a champion that scales on AD but deals magic damage, so it's very hard to find the right items for him at some times. There is one little tech that we may get into later in the video if we go to the live games. Corki is one marksman that lost power due to Trinity Force's changes. And while it's still his best item, we'd like to get him back up to snuff and get him an ace machine. While doing this, we'd like to close the gap between bot and mid as well in order to open him up to players who pick marksman more frequently. Base attack damage going up by 2, R damage. Why is this closing any sort of gap? I don't know. Base attack damage, maybe just to be able to fight a little bit better in the bot lane. R damage going from those numbers there. The changes are plus 10% AD at early levels. Okay, they're just giving him a little bit of a tap. Say he's a little bit better at level 6 and all the way through to level 15. At 16, he will be the same champion. On top of just having 2 extra damage. This right here, this is the love push. Right? Like when you give a champion 2 AD or you take away 2 AD, you're talking about 1,000 attacks a game. So the amount of damage that this adds up to is significant when it comes time to like how quickly can they push waves? How much damage do the spells do? What do they do scaling into the end game? Everything's just plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So Corki should be in a much better spot from this. We'll go into the itemization later, hopefully. Trinity Force. Lost a lot of power for ranged users last patch, but seems to be in a good spot for melee users. As such, we're not changing Ezreal's core item in Trinity Force, but he still needs more power from somewhere. These changes should add some interest to his laning phase by letting him be more aggressive with W and E combos. W cooldown going down to 8 seconds. That's very, very interesting. The E still has a jacked up cooldown, so you have to be careful about that. E mana cost going down by 20. So these are nice quality of life changes for the most popular champion in the game. One of the things that you can look at with this champion, and I'm sure that's going to come up, is Spear of Shojin and Navori Quickblades. These items work off of spells and amplify your spell damage while giving you AD, probably going to end up being the best items for Ezreal coming out of this. So I wouldn't be surprised to see an Essence Reaver Navori Quickblades type build with Infinity Edge at some point make its way into the Ezreal lexicon. We'll see if we get a chance for that. Hwei, this one is they said that they were going to prioritize more on the masses and less on pro. This is indicative of that. His health is going up by 5. His damage on Q is gaining an extra 5% ratio. His E is getting 10 base damage per rank. That's per rank, guys. This is actually turning it into a legitimate damage source as you're going up. Also means that leveling it's going to be that much better. And the R missile width is going up by 10, which means you can collide, right? It's basically 5 more on either side. It's more likely to connect with people on the fringe side, less likely that they can sidestep it. This is a big deal because Hwei is already powerful, and they already noted it on the patch 14.1. Hwei's in a good spot, but a lot of people are picking him, and so his win rate is still suffering. And that's just because people are going to learn him. He's literally maybe the most complicated champion that they've ever released. 9 spells by level 3, right? And you're talking about a passive and an ultimate. So you're talking about so much goes into this champion, and what is it going to mean for what he's able to do. Now look at this, right? Complicated champion, new sets of items, you're unsure what you're going to do. Pick rates have been going down. Win rate plummeted with the new patch, right? Because now you had to relearn everything, and you're like, things are looking pretty good. We're climbing up pretty steadily in Diamond, but boom, took a massive hit as people were preparing for the season. Here you see the ban rate falling. Everything about Hwei was dropping, but now already we're seeing big spikes coming back up. I expect this champion to be in a very comfortable spot for pro play once they get these items. One of the things that comes up right here, like Storm Surge, just a very good item. I think it's one of the, if not the best item that they released for mages in the new set, but it doesn't really fit into Hwei's identity. Hwei wants like Cosmic Drive to be good. He wants to be able to control spells, throw them quickly, move around the fight. One spell hit means I get to move, stay at long range. Artillery mage, control mage sort of aspects. You don't necessarily want him to be this high damage burst, but if they give you enough of the values, then you just got to ride with it. This right here, triple tonic, is slowly catching on to momentum. This is absolutely broken. This, anytime that you can put this into your tree, you should. Level 3 gaining elixir of avarice, we're going to use that every single time to create a 3rd or 4th wave crash. Then you get to go back, you get to shop with your extra push, you get the extra money, and you just get a significantly better spot coming into wave 5. You can also use dematerializer to accelerate the push on that 1st and 2nd cannons especially. So lots to love about this. And of course, once you get to 6, that is giving you extra adaptive force as you hit your ultimate. Absolutely fantastic for that case as well, especially champions that are trying to get kills right there. So Syndra, for example, can come into lane with triple tonic. She can push the wave hard, create the best push she can, go back, get a free item, come back with Dark Seal plus boots, for example, on top of their Doran's Ring, and then go for the all-in at 6 using the Elixir of Force. In level 9, you'll just get an extra point in E. It's just a very, very strong potion. It does synergize with the right side of the tree. I will almost always take minion dematerializer though, especially for control mages, artillery mages that have a tough time clearing waves level 3 to about 8. Once they're 9 in Lost Chapter, they tend to be pretty good at it. Lux getting some love as well. With these changes, we're looking to give Lux a little bit more survivability and defensive ability. She's getting 20 extra health, base armor is going up, attack speed growth is going up. This is going to help her proc her spell in the late game, and the shield strength is getting 5% AP. This is a big bonus. One of the champions that was doing very well in this meta where people were fumbling with Hwei meant that champions like Fizz were having a field day. This meant that also Lux, with more Fizzes around, Lux is also going to feel that negatively. So she's getting a little bit of a nerf. She's going to be in a fine spot. Naafiri, another complicated champion, needs help with the items. Movement speed going back up by 5 to that 340, right? We've seen this before. This 340 threshold tends to be pretty important for champions to have the mobility able to catch champions, especially when they're roaming gankers. Packmate damage is going up by 1 and 1. The ratio is staying the same. And the passive cooldown is, what is changing here? Passive cooldown is getting shorter as the game progresses. All right, so you're going to really feel this at level... all of them? Yeah, instead of 1, 6, 11, 16, it's going to be 1, 6, 9, 12, 15. So really going to feel it at 9. You're going to feel stronger. 12 and 15 are going to feel buttery smooth for getting the extra puppies in play. Zac has lost a lot of power from not having access to Demonic and Radiant Virtue, in addition to all of his builds getting affected by the loss of ability haste across the board. We're adjusting his cooldowns in order to compensate. Passive heal per chunk is going up by 1%. That's actually pretty big because as you go and fight, you're going to get 3 or 4 of these bloblets. So you're going to be healing about 4 or 5% more in your fights as you go. E cooldown going down by 2 flat. This is huge absolutely huge. I wonder if we're going to see some AP builds pop up. The R cooldown going down by 10 seconds per rank. Fantastic changes for Zach. Zed, with the loss of Hydra caster builds, Zed's in need of a little bit of help, a little help to strike terror into the hearts of his opponents. W cooldown is going down by a second over the duration of the rank. You're not really going to feel that. Sometimes you put a second rank in this early, but you don't really touch it until 14, 15, 17, 18. E damage going up by 20 at maximum ranks. The ratio is staying the same, so a little bit more comfortable to level this spell up. R damage going to 100% AD. Whoa. This is a big chunk. This is a big chunk of damage, folks. I've been wondering which type of champion to play with Hubris, which is not a very good item, by the way. Don't play it if you're playing in competitive games. But in solo queue stomp games, Hubris is a lot of fun. I wish the statue... and you can tell me if you agree with this. I wish the statue would plop down in the middle of the fight. You're just like, boom, and it just goes dunk, and it's like, shing, and it shows everybody how great your statue is. As it stands, it just spawns in your base, right next to the fountain. And yeah, it's nice, it's cool. Everyone will see it as they leave the fountain. But, you know, I want my opponents to see it, and I don't want them to see it as they're killing my base. Champion nerfs. Aphelios was a huge winner of patch 14.1, and it's not just from the lethality. By the way, lethality items were the most overtuned things in the entire game. Most champions who are benefiting the most are taking the move speed and the lethality changes. So Aphelios makes sense. He's a kiting long-range carry, wants to play with some amount of spells. The lethality helped him out a lot there. Not just from lethality and his E getting stronger, as even his Q plus W max win rate has climbed substantially. Thus, we're bringing Aphelios down to size. He has the highest total attack damage of any AD carry by a wide margin due to how much he gets from his passive, so we're bringing it down a bit. I'm not a big fan of that. That's the only thing he gets to rank up. It kind of makes sense. Attack and damage growth going from 3 to 2.3. That's massive. So every single level, you're talking about as you get into fights, starting level 5, 6, 7, you're already going to be down 2 AD. Fizz has been having a bit too much fun with the new item changes. We talked about Storm Surge. So we need to take his damage down a notch. We're targeting the AP ratios on his Q and W while preserving the ratio on his E, since there's a meaningful risk to using it aggressively. Q damage going down by 5%. That's not very much. Not a big deal. W active damage, 10%. This must be on the first hit. If it's on all hits, then this is a very, very big deal. But I think this is just on the first hit, because it's right here, just the active portion. Cutting down Gwen's auto attack scaling to account for the new item system. Passive damage going from 1% and then 0.8 per 100 of the target's maximum health, or cutting it down. I wonder why. Let's look at Gwen. Let's take a peek at what has been going on with Gwen. Whoa, look at the big spike right here. This was something that kind of went under my radar. Gwen, I knew was OP, but I didn't realize she spiked this hard. Holy crap. Game count went way up and then way back down. It looks like this is going to flatline about right here. Ban rate, okay. Win rate came down comfortably under 50. Makes sense. What was changing so much about her? Oh, it's just the Rift Maker. The fact that there's 2 items with damage over time building in. I don't think she was a big fan of the new Leandri's Torment. But what made Riftmaker so good for her? Void Corruption, so she starts getting the... Oh, at maximum strength, gain the Omnivamp. Right, of course. Right, so they just made Riftmaker that much stronger for her. Her best item got better, and then bonus health turning into ability power. She does turn into like a bruiser type, fighting mage style. Cosmic Drive still makes a lot of sense. You see, like, here's the thing. This Storm Surge should not belong on a champion like this, and it still had a super high win rate on this champion, right? So you can kind of see where this item's at. This item is insane. It's so much stronger than everything else across the mages, but it looks like she's fallen into a comfortable spot. Kale, with more AP and access to the new Ginsus and Kraken, Kale doesn't need much AP to attack speed conversion from her passive anymore. So we're getting the Zeal bonus is going from 6.1 to 6.5 per AP. Okay. LeBlanc, AD LeBlanc has made her return. There was a image that was viral in the League community with Trinity Force Hullbreaker LeBlanc just having a smashing win rate. So we'll see whether or not they're targeting that the most. While the build doesn't appear to be strictly stronger than AP LeBlanc for most players, she's still performing too well on this build. She's also gotten a bit weaker on her AP builds, so we'd like to return some power there in exchange. Attack speed ratio going down. This is a big deal for affecting your last hits. She tends not to need the last hits that much as the game progresses, but early game this can be fairly testing when you don't have your Q available to help you get them. Attack speed growth, though, is going up. Okay, but the growth right here, based on this low number, this like it's so small, right? They're gutting this base number is the one that everything else bases off of. So when you gain 10%, you're no longer gaining 10% of 62, you're gaining 10% of 40. So it's a huge deal. You're dropping at every single rank. So this 2.5% growth, right? Even though it's plus 0.85, you're just never going to you're never going to eclipse this old number. It's just not going to happen. Attack damage growth also getting gutted. This makes sense. Like, why did she have a 2.7 attack damage growth? Q damage, they're giving her some extra power. It's getting an extra 5%. E damage is getting another 5% as well. All right, so she's going to feel pretty comfortable, especially with Storm Surge. Singed was the huge winner of the new Liandry's items. Teemo and Singed, the poisoning champions. I'm surprised Cassiopeia did not see as much success. But basically these champions that use Liandry's Torment and then also can't use Malignance on Singed, but Malignance second item on Teemo was a huge deal. So we're definitely going to see him on the list as well. Singed has hit the ground running and is performing extremely well this patch and needs to be tuned down a bit. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, Singed is one of those champions that's not very popular. Right, and so one tricks will always have better insights as to how to adjust a champion going into a new environment. Based on a low play rate and the fact that mostly only the one tricks are going to continue playing Singed in the new patch, you're going to see a ballooning in the win rate. Right, this is a natural phenomenon that's going to happen. It happens every single year. Every year the tank play goes down. What is this, 12 seasons that we've had preseasons and changes, always tanks go down. People want to carry, they want to try out damage combinations. Singed hit that like middle ground where there was a damage combination that was very powerful for him, so it makes sense that he also started seeing play and started to continue to win even when more people were playing him. But that said, it's still, I don't know if it's too good. If it really needs to get hit this hard. 10% ratio on the total damage on the tick of the poison is pretty big. It does affect his ability to clear waves as well. We'll see whether or not this is enough to like really peg him down. I don't think that we see Singed in pro play, especially after a nerf, but I don't know, it'd be kind of cool, right? Bring back some Looper Singed. I want to see some Singed in pro. That'd be sick. See if we can get a proxy meta. There's some rumors about returning to a 2-1-2 with the jungle changes being so slow, and there's some murmurs. So in that environment, it might behoove you to have a proxying top laner so you can have an extra roamer around the map and kind of killing waves quickly so that you can help influence in the topside jungle, for example. Gems are truly outrageous. Armor growth is going down. Taric is outrageous now. Since new and more affordable items are available in the support tank space, yes. Taric, as an armor scaling champion that has more access to cheap and affordable armor than he did in previous season, has some room to rely less on his armor growth. W bonus armor is going down by 1%. This was a 1.1 durability, so you're still only going to feel this by the 1. But the armor growth going down, as the armor is a naturally outscaled stat, right? It just gets outscaled as the game goes on. People start picking up items like Lord Dominic's, but also diminishing returns within the system. Your first 100 armor reduces their damage by 50%. Your next 100 armor brings it from 50 to 33% damage taken. So it goes from 50 to 16, right? It's a tiny amount of mitigation as you go, and each point just gets less and less valuable. So this isn't a huge nerf, but it will affect his end game scaling. Taric is still the premium anti-engaged champion in the game. If they're playing Pantheon Kled, then you can pick Taric and be super happy that they will dive into you and you will have a field day. Timo's having the time of his life, as was I, with the new items. Let's just give a little shout out to the man with a plan right here. And who wants to see that? Just kidding. We love Timo. Okay, fine. But unfortunately, he's currently a bit overtuned. We're bringing down the AP ratio in his R due to its synergy with Malignance, plus taking down damage to his Q a bit. Okay, so you still get the Riftmaker. You still get the Landry's Torment. Q damage is going down, not by a flat amount, by a scaling amount. 10% scaling. Okay, this is the ability you rely on least for its damage in the late game. You rely on it a lot early. But over the course of the game, it's not Q poison damage that's really affecting people unless you're going for the Storm Surge and Lichbane build. So this isn't going to be felt too badly. 50 and only 5% ratio on the shrooms. I think we can still play some Timo. Item buffs. People are not picking. Essence Reaver has had a slow start finding users. So we're giving it a little buff to make this item more appealing to anyone browsing the shopkeeper's wares. 100 less gold. And we're getting 10% to the base AD bonus on the proc. Interesting. Yeah, I think Essence Reaver is going to find a home. We'll see whether or not, like, the Gangplanks of the world like the idea of something like the, what is it called? The Crypto Gyro Blade or something. The extra slow that it gives, right? You can just cue someone in the face to 99% slow them. You can go with Essence Reaver. We'll see if that ends up being a build. Might be interesting to check that out. Heartsteel isn't performing well even on its best users. That's because it's a naturally bad item, guys. When it's picked up first item, more health should help it have some more immediate impact and also help it scale a bit faster. That is true. It is helping on both sides. 900 is not inconsequential. It's just an item that you basically need to go immediately from this into Aegis style items, right? You need to get resists immediately because Heartsteel is only health, and there's so many things that deal percent maximum health damage that it doesn't really scale you that much. You're still getting hit by burn the same amount, and while burn is the meta, extra health isn't going to do anything. And on top of that, even when you're someone like Shen, the fact that you have this means that you didn't get Frostfire Gauntlet, or you didn't get some other item that helped you actually control the fight and made it just that you're getting bigger. It's just kind of a weak item. You really need it to be completely overstated to be playable. This will not get picked in Pro. Hubris. Hubris is weak. Yes, it is, especially since the statue spawns in your base. But the statue is cool. Yes. This goes back to what made League great. When it did cool things like this statue should drop in the middle of the fight. Or in the middle of the map, like literally dead center or in the pits, somewhere where it's like, yeah, like check out this guy's statue is blinging. Anyway, we're giving it some additional power that should help players convert kills into more leads, but also that statue. The duration going up to 90 seconds. This is huge. Eminence AD per rank going to 15 plus 2 per statue rank. We played this last night. It is not up to date on the tooltip, so you're absolutely going to want. They have it as 15 plus 1, so it's good to know that's 15 plus 2. I was wondering about it because last night I was at 41 stacks on 13 kills, and I was like, how did we get here? The only way to do it is if it's giving plus 2 per statue rank. This is fascinating. This might be enough to make it strong enough. I still don't think so. I think it's going to be one of those casual Timmy items, which means I'm going to love it. And it's going to be a lot of fun to play. Champions that are going to want to play it. Snowballing. Akshan. That's the champion I played it on. I think it's best on Akshan. He can fly around the map, get tons of kills all over the place. Quinn as well. You just really want that on fast champions that can roam around, get kills, and they have to be AD based. Very much limits the pool of champions, maybe Talon as well. But that's about it. Maybe on Nocturne, but Nocturne has so many like items that are just perfectly right up his wheelhouse. Profane Hydra, a few adjustments to help it on par with the other Hydra items. It's going down by 100 gold, that's big. The cleave damage is going to 150% with anyone that's in execute range, all right? So if they're under 50% health, this is a big amount of damage that is just being added to your kit. It is fantastic on your melee champions. Also dealing 100% AD physical damage to enemies within a 450 unique unit radius. Oh my god, lost my ability to read. Wow. Okay. Yeah, they gave this thing a big buff. It needed it. It was the worst Hydra item. Now it seems like it's the best. So we'll compare it right now to Ravenous Hydra. Ravenous Hydra, we're increasing Ravenous Hydra's lifesteal to more clearly identify as a premium sustain option for players and taking this as an opportunity to smooth out how the item casts. Lifesteal, it's still not Omnivamp and it's still not working on the spells, which means that it's never going to be the same item it was. Cast time now references users' attack cast time. So this must be the wind up of the attack, meaning like the front half of however much it should take. For most champions, that is less than a quarter second. Like 20% of 0.7. Yeah, okay. So this should be smoother. It shouldn't take as much. It'll be interesting to see. I haven't tested any of the new Hydras with Renekton. The old Hydras, right? You could go Q Hydra, but you couldn't go Hydra Q. So you could get into different animation cancels. You could go Q Hydra into W into Ultimate. Right, so there's a lot of animations that you could cancel. It'll be interesting to make sure that all of these are working the same. It seems like maybe they don't. Why would they want Ravenous Hydra to be faster than anything else? I don't know. Stridebreaker, they took away the damage, which made it that much more weaker, giving Stridebreaker some more stats to help it find a place in the season start. Attack damage up by 5, attack speed up by 5%, and the unique active, it grants a 35% bonus move speed. Decaying over 3 seconds. Okay. Breaking Shockwave. Tiamat, a tad more power while also smoothing out the cast time. Again, this is one of those things. You took away Ravenous Hydra from having the AoE splash. And so, you know, people just aren't going to want to build this line at all. And instead you added 3 items to it. And yes, there are some champions that really want to have Titanic Hydra, especially like Shen. But yeah, I don't know. Giving Tiamat a tad more power to also smooth out the cast time. Same thing. So they didn't refer to this on the Profane, but I don't know why they wouldn't. Crescent deals 60%, now it deals 75%. Okay, so you're getting the upgrade up to 100 when you go into only Profane Hydra. Interesting. Item nerfs. Yikes, this is pretty big. Pretty exhaustive list. I wasn't expecting it to be this big. Hextech Rocket Belt came in a bit stronger because you gave the broken ability to dash onto a cheaper item. Like the people at the point that you're getting Hextech Rocket Belt, you didn't really care about the stats as much as you cared the ability to get near your opponent. So anyways, deals 75, 15%. It's going down by 50. That's a big change. Storm Surge was intended to fill the gap in a system for burst-oriented AP champions, but is both overperforming on those champions and also generically powerful for most AP champions. Yeah, it literally was just the best item. With that said, we're lowering the base damage and the AP ratio on the proc should reduce the most frustrating aspects of the item. The squall damage is going down by 20 to 60, 10% AP melee, and 75 to 150 going down by 15 to 45 and AP rate. Wow, that is a massive nerf. It's still the best item. The Collector, with the mythic item system removal, Collector can more easily be purchased first. Additionally, lethality items are quite good for 80 carries at the moment, which makes for pretty lethal combination. We're looking to increase the cost here, so the item will come online slightly later. I wish they didn't do this. It'd be fun if a collector meta came about, that'd be great. People fighting each other to the death, trying to spike. I think that would be kind of cool. I wish they didn't do that. Titanic Hydra is currently a bit too strong early, so we're removing some stats, 5 AD and 50 health. That's a pretty big deal. It's all because of that auto reset. The fact that you can cast it for the second auto right attack right away. It's so good on champions like Shen and on Kled, who have a duration of empowered auto attacks that they really want to take advantage of. Trailblazer was the best item for supports. It's currently a bit too strong as a first item for tank support, so we're increasing the cost and reducing the health, which should help reduce the item's personal power and delay the spike a bit. So the cost is going up by 100, Health down by 50. The passive effect on it is still so strong. I expect this to see a lot of play anyways. Going up to 2,500 means you can consider some other things at the same cost, but it's still just the premium item, right? Move speed, range. Those are the things that matter the most in this game. Bug fixes. Friend of the Forest, not the Void. Fixed the bugs that was causing Ivern's passive mark time to take 13 seconds after steering and exiting the Rift Herald. That sucks. Corrections. Following information was previously inaccurate in the patch notes. These are not balance adjustments. Void Grub spawn timers. A group of 3 Void Grubs can respawn once per game, and each group has a shared respawn timer of 4 minutes. That begins once all 3 have been slain. Crypt Bloom. 60 ability power, 10 ability house. It's actually 70 and 15. Interesting. Yeah, okay. The fact that this read here, I was like, what is the point of Crypt Bloom ever? At least it's now more comparable now. Experimental Hexplate, passive move speed. Again, we said this is perfect for champions like Nocturne that want to cast their ultimate. Twisted Fate as well if you're going for like an AD version, but that's way more fringe. But champions that have a global, I can get there, Pantheon, I need to get there, and I need to immediately position for the fight. This is so good for them. The fact that it's 8 is nice. Serpent Fang, they said was completely unchanged. Also, Runon's Hurricane just wasn't even in the patch notes at all. They put every single thing in the game except Runon's Hurricane. They're just like, yeah, no, we don't need to. We can chill. Ability Haste has been removed. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, especially since they didn't change any of the other stats on this item. So anyways, what are we going to look at? Let's take a peek at what is still overperforming. We're going to go back 7 days to see more a line of what's actually working for people that are maining the champion, also just on the patch what's happening in the last 7 days, so we get a better use of what's going on with these changes. Master Yi, the Booster Supreme, or maybe the boosters are out in force. Nothing is chilling near that 60%. Rengar's the only one. Let's see what the Rengar one tricks are up to. Let's go with past 7 days, and we're going to go with one tricks. What are the one tricks doing? So it's still QWE into Q. We see some flash and some ghosts. Look at this, guys. Look at this. 59, 58% win rate on this champion as the one tricks. It's all the move speed. Interesting that we have, this is a low sample size, but 63% is kind of popping right now. 59 for both of these. That is absolutely fantastic. It's because of this item right here. Voltaic Cyclosword. How did they not identify this as an item that needed to be changed? This item is the single most powerful AD item, right? It's just insane. 55 AD for 2,900 gold, 55 AD, 18 lethality, that's max, 15 ability haste, that's maxed out. Your dashes and your stealth stack your energized 75% faster. That's even when you're going fleet footwork. And also for this effect, your energized attacks deal 100 bonus damage and slow them by 99%. That's insane. That being said, Rengar is the most invisible, fastest dashing champion jump with all the jumps in the game there is. So of course he's the biggest abuser of this item. You see Hubris is actually popping off as well. This other item, Opportunity, which is fantastic for these assassins. Look at this. This is how you know a champion is just absolutely going crazy. All of these items have speed or slow ability to pop off. 60 attack damage right here, and you get the extra stacks. It means that you can go for that 1v9. Profane Hydra is the one that's actually very surprising for me. This is helping him to clear. It's with an early Tiamat start. It is 3,400, so you expect it to be higher. The cleave attacks deal 40% physical damage to other enemies. Didn't they just say they moved this up to 100? No, it's on the active. Okay, deal 100% physical damage to nearby enemies. This is increased to 150% of your AD physical damage to enemies below 30%. So just a stat check, but look how insane this is. Like, you know a champion's doing well when all of its items are doing well, right? It's not just one build that someone figured out. Just across the board, everything's good. Probably means that you're going to see the same 4 items right here, and you're going to see the same 4 items right here. It's just indifferent. It's indifferent. Hubris right here, 65 if you pick it third. The stats go up and up and up. Do we see it fourth? Is there any Hubris fourth? If 80%, my goodness. Okay, so it basically, in the stage of the game where you're looking to snowball, Hubris is going to be that item. Serolda's Grudge I'm not a big fan of in general, but Rengar is uniquely qualified at bursting someone down in health, which means that you're going to get the Grudge effect. It's not nearly as good on champions that used to use it, that relied on it to become the source of slow. Well, look at this. The same items that were good earlier are popping off. Profane Hydra 72, Yumu 74, Collector 68, Infinity Edge making appearance. Here's the Cyclosword Hubris. If you haven't bought these items earlier, Essence Reaver, right? This is something that used to pop off on this champion a lot. But interestingly, fourth item, 82. I mean, tiny sample size. Look at here right now. Another small sample size, 46. Over here, 51. So it's kind of all over the place. I don't think that we can measure anything off of that. Interesting. Let's keep taking a peek. One Tricks, this win rate. Draven again, perhaps benefiting the most. Let's see if Hubris appears on his. I hope it does. It should be good on him, right? Like, if it's good on anyone, it should be good on him. Yumus, that makes sense. Yumus, we have early Bloodthirster. Kraken Slayer's doing okay. Fascinating. Hubris, just lethality into crit. You use the Collector as a way to bridge into Infinity Edge. Infinity Edge still fine. Cyclosword, just overperforming everywhere. Right? Like, this is so good. Oh, I forgot to check about Rengar. With Rengar, is it fleet footwork that people are going? It is. So you're just going for the fleet because it's getting you through the jungle healthier, and it's stacking up with the Cyclosword. But interestingly, the Conqueror is doing just fine. First Strike also doing just fine, which means you also have access to this thing, Triple Tonic, to get that extra spike at level 6. Interesting about junglers right here. Elixir of Avarice. I do want to look this up because I'm not, I can't be positive that they didn't just get this wrong in the patch notes. Elixir of... Apparently I can't look at it. Avarice. Okay. It only hits minions. I don't like this. It should say minions and monsters. But it also just gives you 40 gold, right? So you could just take it. Even if you were a jungler, you could say, okay, here's a 40 gold, miniature rune. Boom, just pop it. It's not good for that, for just that. But the fact that it does other things as well is always very nice. Specifically getting access to more power earlier at level 6 and 9. Okay, interesting. What else do we want to take a peek at? Let's just go here. Win rate amongst one tricks. 15. Wow. This is kind of bizarre. Best worldwide. All right, so if you expand, this must mean that lower, this is including Smurfs. That's why this is higher. It has to be. Because the best worldwide on champion is not going to include Smurf accounts. So it's going to have the highest ranked champions that main this, and this is going to include Smurfs. That's why it's higher. This is rarely higher than over here. Yeah, it's just got to be the early ranks. Okay, yeah, these should be very similar, obviously. But champions that are doing well despite their mains. Talia, interesting. Kiana, we're seeing a lot of assassins pop up over here. What's Master Yi on about? And where did Teemo go? Teemo was at the top of this list, guys. What happened to Teemo? We have to know, because Teemo, we're likely just going to play some Teemo and some Malphite. Teemo, let's go Emerald Plus, get a solid like 10% of the player base. Has dropped down to 52%. Look at that. He was so strong that he was getting played in all these other roles, right? Like, look at this. All of his win rates on all positions were doing fine, except AD carry. Mid actually doing the best, likely because you get filled there as a one trick, so you're just gonna have kind of overstated abilities. Fleet footwork doing well. You see this, the Landry's Torment into this. Storm Surge making it in just because it's that good. We should see items like Cosmic Drive. Interesting to see the Crypto Bloom. So this has the updated stats on it. 30% magic penetration, 70 ability power, and 15 haste. And when you find a kill, create a healing nova with a 60%. So this is really good for those team fights. Healing for 50% of your AP, by the way. That late in the game, if you're a control mage, this might become a preeminent This, in fact, this will become the item in pro play for team fight compositions, right? You're not going to buy Void Staff. Void Staff, yes, selfishly gives you a little bit extra damage, but this Void Nova, the heal, right, that's coming out, when you're talking about 300, 400 AP builds, you're talking about a 250 health AoE heal, boom, that's going to pop off in the middle of the fight just for getting the first kill. That can swing your entire fight. It's making everyone on your team stronger, on top of having the ability haste and stuff like that. Let's look at it compared to here. 80 and 40, but it has no ability haste and it doesn't have the Nova, right? So I think there's a pretty easy case to be made for Crypt Bloom, and it's cheaper, right? Like everything about this item seems good. So the core here, it feels bad to not buy Nashers, but the other items are so good that I would be surprised to see anything other than Malignance, Landry's Torment, and then these like pop-off mage items, right? Shadow Flame, insane. Storm Surge, insane. Morello Nomicon, new Morello is insane. 2,200 gold for 90 ability power. Like, hello. This is pretty solid over here. Malignance, basically at any stage. You don't care about Malignance. The reason it's not winning well as a first item, even though it's best in slot for Teemo in the endgame, because your level 6 ultimate doesn't do that much. This was a change way back like season 6 maybe. Ever since then, he's been much more of a scaling champion. Very interesting to see this. Some amount of Nashor's Tooth, right? A little bit of a mix here. You don't see this. A lot of times it could be right to go Lost Chapter into Leandry's. Excuse me. Or like Lost Chapter and Sorks. But if you do that, you do fall off a lot in the lane. You become very exploitable, right? People can start attacking you a little bit easier. So anyways, we're not seeing that big of a jump. How about our AP Malphite? AP Malphite has felt really good with the Storm Surge. Tank, 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 tank. All right, we're winning items. I want to see if Storm Surge even pops up here at all. No. Okay, so it's complete. No, there it is. All right. So people have been playing. In fact, 7,000 games, it has a negative win rate. Okay. Makes sense. Zeke's Convergence, the biggest item. I love having this back. It's a fan favorite, something that takes your champions that have a tough time scaling, gives them an extra effect. So you basically don't need to get anything like Iceborne Gauntlet anymore, because Zeke's Convergence will just show up, boom, you cast your ultimate, and immediately you start dealing 50 damage per second and slowing your enemies. So just a premium item, especially for only 2,200 gold. Also fantastic for someone like a Trundle, which is the last champion that I think I wanted to take a peek at. Obviously, he's been dominating top lane recently, 52%, but jungle is coming back, and Titanic Trinity, is it with a Zeke's third? Zeke's is an item used to be automatic that you'd play this. Ooh, Experimental Hexblade. I hadn't thought about that. On to Trundle. One of the problems he has is after you cast your ultimate, sometimes they just run away from you. But if you can get 35% attack speed and 15% bonus move speed, it means that you can actually stick to your quarry a little bit easier. I do not see Zeke's. Zeke's should be on here. For people that remember, this was the heyday. 33% on 6. That's basically no one buying it. You used to do this and play the supportive build, 62 on 8. Like, this is no games played, right? This is not enough to generate any sort of opinions on. Trinity Force, the Spellblade, getting the extra move speed. Again, once you hit them, you're able to stick to them a little bit more. Black Cleaver should have been doing something similar. Split Pen. I wouldn't be surprised if something like Terminus ends up being good on this champion because of the split penetration. How's my boy Yorick doing? Not well. 48. Yikes. I think largely because Sundered Sky is not very good on him. This is one of those champions that the split pen is good. Hullbreaker should have been doing better. Spear of Shojin should be doing, like, it should be his #1 item, period. Your spells, Satin Khuluds, your ghouls, your minions, they'll all start dealing extra increased damage. That's a lot, right? An extra 12 damage every time that they hit, like, that's a significant chunk. So the ability to generate pets with Spear of Shojin is a big deal. So we could test out Spear of Shojin and Yorick. We also see this item, Opportunity. Now, this one's interesting. Being able to fly around the map makes a lot of sense. You want this on a lot of different champions. And for 2,700 gold, gaining this much move speed, it's a very big deal, right? The 5%. But then after being out of combat with champions is when you get the lethality. This is interesting because it will basically only affect the beginning. When you hit someone with your E, your ghouls jump on them and the first hit. After that, maybe they get one more, but they're probably running away. Not much is happening, so you don't really get that. Also, it means that you're not going to have that bonus as your ghouls are just pushing waves. Every time that your ghoul randomly touches an enemy champion, which should basically only happen once while they kill it, and then you should get it back. So maybe it's not that bad, the downside of when it's not good, but it is fascinating to see it there. But yeah, Spear is the one that we anticipated seeing the most on. Let's check out Ezreal. Then we'll get into some games. Get a coffee and go get into some games. Ezreal, win rate still being punished. You see this? Crypto making a lot of sense. You're going to hit people with Qs. It's going to slow them. You don't need the Cyrilda's Grudge anymore. Spear of Shojin should be part. I want to see where Navori Quickblades is. Winning items. Do we see it anywhere? No. Spear of Shojin absolutely should be. Eclipse is an item we didn't really see it. 70 attack damage. That's premium. That's a large amount. Hitting a champion with 2 separate attacks or abilities within 2 seconds. Grants a deals bonus physical damage and grants you a 160 plus 40% of your bonus AD shield for 2 seconds. I want to play this on like shield bash champions. The problem is it doesn't give other effects, so you're really just relying on the 70 attack damage, but that said, 70 attack damage is a lot. Nothing is winning a lot on this champion. Where's Navori? Your attacks reduce your non-ultimate ability cooldowns by 12%. Your abilities deal up to 20% increased damage based on critical strike chance. So again, this is not a champion that you tended to go heavily into the crit build, but I want to see what happens in a like Essence Reaver type build, right? So here we go. Not doing particularly well. Okay. Yeah, not exciting, right? Essence Reaver. It doesn't need to be Essence Reaver first. I should make sure to point that out. Also, we see there's no Navoris here, right? Like this is the synergy that we'd be looking for, is these 3 items, and it looks like it's just not doing well at all. Interesting. Okay, so what do we do for meta? I mean, playing Hwei seems way too easy. We just pick champions off the top 10 here. The S plus and S list. Riven still overtuned. Jax is insane. Senna should be doing strong. I almost want to go back and just reread all the items and see what are some of the builds that we wanted to take advantage of. We did get to play a Nocturne mid game. Anivia should be a huge fan of the new Leandries. Oh, Rod of Ages. What? So they didn't say anything about taking away the stacks. Let me look at these patch notes. Rod of Ages removed. This. They don't say that they're removing the 10 stack bonus, and yet it's not there. Like, that's a huge deal whether or not this is there. When you get to 10 stacks, are you gaining a level or not? Right? Like, all right, this is important enough that we have to test it out right now. That's not what I care about. I care about this. We want to get to level 6. Let's just auto refresh everything. All right, Rod. Doesn't say anything about the stack. All right, so let's see. Stack Rod should be an option. There's like stack tier, stack items.
30 seconds until minions
Fully stacked tier support and jungle items. Okay, it won't let me do anything else. Okay, let's go despawn the minions. Toggle minion spawn, fast forward 10 minutes. Okay, let's see if we get a level. Now, one thing that was happening, showing how broken this was, this used to make you AFK. Okay, it gave me the level. It just doesn't say it on the thing anymore. Like, guys, how can you be so bad at this? Really? It does it. I believe you want it to do it. It's not in the patch notes that it's changing, but it needs to be somewhere. You need to show... Oh, there we go. They snuck it back in. Upon reaching max stacks to gain a level, they just put it right there. Okay. Was it just there? Am I just wrong? Am I just awful? Upon reaching maximum stats, gain a level. Never mind. It was there. I'm just crazy. I'm just old senile. Scratch the tape. Alright, let's try to learn a thing. Gonna learn Hwei. Oh boy. Oh boy. You know, let me go get my coffee for this one. Let's see. Hwei. Hubris. Rod is only 2,600. I mean, for every 200 healing or mana restored with Eternity, gain 35% bonus move speed. Yeah, that's such a weird thing that they had in there before. Nivea, Rod of Ages, mandatory. Now you have a lost chapter item that builds out of this, which is very nice, right? 80 ability power, you gain ability power equal to 1% of your mana. Very, very nice. And Seraph's Embrace with the big shield. Gain a mana charge every 8 seconds up to 5. Hitting a target with an ability consumes the charge and grants 5 bonus mana. Doubled if the target is a champion, up to 360. Bonus stacks, right. Yep, same. Up to 5 is kind of interesting. Alright. Hwei. Thousands and thousands of games. Alright, Malignance is obviously bad. Especially early. Look at this. People are really having it. Yeah, see, Cosmic Drive, guys. Cosmic Drive. Not even close. Take Cosmic Drive, figure out the rest after that. You need the cooldowns, you need to be able to control the fight. It's a kind of radical champion. One of the things that we're going to try to do is combo our abilities and do it quickly, right? This is a challenging champion for us, and frankly, it's not one that is part of our champion lexicon. Winning items. Crypt Bloom makes sense. Control Mage can affect the fight. Rabadons makes sense because it's a capstone item. Everything else is doing poorly. Shadow Flame doing well because it's also overtuned. Storm Surge should not be part of your build here. The Revolver also feels kind of weak. I feel like you want the burns more than anything else. So we might be looking... I mean, it can't be Riftmaker. We don't deal enough damage for it to be Riftmaker. This makes a ton of sense. Like we said, Cosmic Drive was always going to be the best. Horizon Focus. Whenever a Hypershot is triggered, reveal all other enemy champions within 1200 range. So this is very interesting. When you do that QW, that long-range spell, this is a good way to actually scout. Deal 10% increased range to enemies revealed by Hypershot. Yeah, I mean, it could be good. 2700 is kind of inexpensive. 20 ability haste, 90 ability power. Kind of fits into their theme. This is the artillery mage item. Ugh. I'm getting ready to sweat right now, guys. Alright, we're going to try to go into this broken tree. We're going to go here, here, and here. Cosmic Insight. I can't think of a good reason. Oh, if you were going Ludens, I suppose. We do want the mana. Do we want it from Presence of Mind, or do we want it somewhere else? We could easily just be a Seraph's build. Could play for like Control Made Rod of Ages, but Cosmic Drive tier into Seraphs could be interesting. Seraphs is actually one of the better performing items. That would be the end of what we needed. Look at this. Actually, Riftmaker is doing well. Just hit people and burn them, right? That's all you need to do on this champion. AP ratios going up should be fine. Do we want the cooldown? We want the cooldown. I want the cooldown. Oh, we have a Caitlyn mid. Whoops. That is a huge problem because we only have 21 armor. Even though it's been buffed, we only have 21 armor, and there's a Shaco and a Caitlyn that exists in our lane. Alright, enemy team also has a Bard, and has a Jinx, and has a Kennen. So literally all 5 champions could exist in my lane. Going to do our best to try to work with that. Karthus Trundle is very strong on top side. Seraphine Cho'Gath is super exploitable early. Jinx should have a field day with pushing that lane as well. We have a barrier from the Kate as well as First Strike, so very much going to be just a farming pushing lane. I think that means that we can go tier here and just try to avoid the auto attacks. She should try to come up and hit me. Gonna have to reverse myself in these spells again. Severing Bolt strikes over far distances with a delayed lightning bolt. 82. Hitting an isolated or immobilized target increases the damage up to 165, which is insane, right? Like this is where you want to be. QW is the big spell. Rumble Ultimate's the QE. QQ is the line fire, kind of like a karma bolt. The W's, WQ is move speed. WW grants an immediate 40 shields, increasing to 80 shields over 3 seconds to allied champions in the area, reduced by 50% for allies. And WE is for the extra ability strength. And grant 40 mana on hit. That's a big deal. Right, so this is basically a free spell. Karthus should be starting blue. EQ is the fear. Line of sight, line strike. EW is the eye that locks in. This is the biggest field, and then it locks on for 1 second. And then EE is the big one, the most common one used. Very poor use of her Q right there. One of her problems is her mana early. You basically want to be casting Q at level once it's got 2 ranks. Just trying to get this a little bit lower. We're going to wait for our next Q cooldown to actually push the wave. And I didn't get enough done. That's my mistake. Does WE just give me like permanent last hitting capacity? It is giving me the mana back, yeah, so it's nice. She hits me. Oops, wrong spell. Oh my gosh. That was the wrong spell as well. Karthus is coming in for a gank. My goodness, this champion is going to be a pain in the ass. I didn't want QE there either. That wanted to be a QQ for sure. I'm getting way too trigger happy with same spell here. Neat little trick you can do is you can go WE and then use your biscuit while you're low in resources. So let's see, EQ into QQ should be the most like direct damage. My elixir is up, right? Okay. Obviously, there's a billion things we can do much better here. We're going to take on the role of control mage, and we're going to do this and teleport back into lane. Wait till we get to 50% HP. QW did not work right there, by the way. That was a QW. I tried to spam them both.
An ally has been slain.
That sucks. Arthas recalled and didn't go for them. I mean, it makes sense with the guy dead. Walked into that. Shaco is 100% on this. Should have used my potion there. Didn't get it off. $100, huh? I was gonna say, tell me I get that thing. It's I'm definitely feeling not having the Dorns, by the way. Definitely not a choice I would make again. Okay, so we've used 2 parts of our elixir, haven't really generated any sort of meaningful advantage out of it. Also went with biscuits. I actually meant to go with dematerializers. That's on me. We're gonna fix this part. Just gonna go for a 0 death game, try to get way better on the CS. We're like so far away. What's up, Kawaii? How you doing? I like that name, Kawaii Caramel. It's like everything I like. So I think this is the part where I can just start spamming the waves on the wave clear, I should say. All right, that's what we like to see. Gonna be a hit. Peace. I undoubtedly could have landed something a little bit better there. Yeah, it's fun, right? I like it. All right, we got company. Didn't get the kill back. That sucks. Completely lost track of everything. Karthus would have been, I mean, it was just enough to like almost win the fight. It means that they're going to be low enough that they can't really do anything. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to try to do this path. Seems awkward. I think we only need to go here, but Stacking both makes a lot of sense as well. We'll just go with control word for right now. WQ is right there. There we go, she's dead. We can push this. Uh-oh. Lost a duel to a bard. My goodness. I don't think I'm going to play this champion again. This is so far beyond my scope. But you know, it's worth playing to test it out. It is a challenging champion to pick up. My goodness. Oh, that's going to hit me. I think it's strong. Yeah, for sure it's strong. The question is whether or not I'm strong with it. You know? Alright, so I don't know if I'm lagging out, but like QQ right there did not work for me. QW has not worked for me twice earlier. So I don't know what's going on as far as like what I was able to see. I was able to play, so I played someone that got 3 spell casts off on me in the same second. And I'm clearly not capable of doing this. So like QQ, alright, so QQ should work. QW should work just as smoothly. It's a bug, a known bug. Yeah, I think Hwei is insanely strong, and I think they know it. I think they know exactly that he's going to be a problem in pro play, but they want that, right? They want people picking up new champion, new skins, new everything about it. They talk about the spell bug. I haven't heard it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to hear that, or happy to like know that it's not just me, because I'm always paranoid about like internet and stuff, you know, just things that you can't control. They talked about it on the on the Hwei Reddit. Can you link that? I'm obviously taking so many backs that I don't want to take here. If you can link that, that'd be great. So like I should have no trouble having a push advantage here, but twice in the past like 3 minutes I've just gone for a spell and it's not casting. And then you have an issue once you do that. Then you've pressed a button, you press another button because you're trying to get another spell off, and if that ever happens, then you're talking about casting the wrong spell at the wrong time, and like that becomes its own problem. So you know, it's actually a really big deal if that's a known bug.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Are they eating out? They're out. That should have targeted the dragon. So like right there, for example, that was supposed to be QQ, and for some reason it thought that it still had my W out from earlier from trying to cast that big spell. I lost control of stuff.
Enemy double kill.
Sure. Reddit. Hwei spell bug.
Defeat.
Okay, sticky comment. This mod is, or this post is obsolete. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, that's more than enough reason. I kind of already wish that the champ didn't exist. It's such a clunky thing. I'd rather have like vector spells and make things complicated that way. The most fun champion I have ever seen. Let's see. Heroes of New Earth. Character. Zephyr. Okay. This champion had a Q that was very similar to like a Janna Gale, but it, more like a Galio's spell, the way it works, but it was Janna's Tornado. It was this owl, right, controlling wind. And let me see if I can get an image. I want to find an image of this. All right, yeah, this is the character. Throws the Q out in a line, deals damage. Great. E, a dash, flap your wings, gust your wings, blow someone that way while you go this way. Okay, that makes a ton of sense too. When passive, when you kill things, tornadoes start spiraling around you. Your ultimate spawns more around you, and it like kind of creates that Swain fantasy, but just in a way like more aesthetic fashion. Like it was just such a cool champion, and why not make something complicated that's intense, like managing your tornadoes and where you're going to be in positioning and things like that. I feel like we would be much better served with a champion like this. Oh, the Q, what was it? The Q was cast on a vector, so you'd blow the wind in a direction, and all things caught in it would move it. So you could actually throw your allies forward. You could bring your allies back. You could push enemies. You could pull them. You could move them side to side. You could, there's so many things that you could do. A vector spell like that would be way more fun to me than anything. I mean, this is the type of champion that I wish just existed in League of Legends. It's how I wish more or less that they had changed Swain, right? Swain, in my opinion, would have been much cooler if he's got these ravens, right? Scouts that are ravens. What if his spell, his passive is like you kill things and the ravens start flocking around you and the carrion feeds. And your Q was all the ravens around you immediately go and bite something. That'd be sick, right? That'd be like the carrion attack. Murder of crows. Then you'd have this ability on your E, you'd throw your raven in a direction or anywhere on the map, and it would fly to that spot and fly back. And your passive would be that all your ravens always take like bites at things around you, or they scratch things around you, right? So similar to that, you've got that flock flying around you. When you throw the raven, it's going to aggro things on the way and then hit things and come back. And your ultimate would be target any of your ravens. Like you'd be able to have 2 ravens at rank 6, 3 ravens at rank 4, and 3 at 11 and 4 at 16. And then your ultimate would be teleport to one of your ravens and swap positions with it. Like, how sick would that be? Where you're just like, my raven's here, and then boom, you just turn into the giant raven crow storm. Like, I don't know. I think that would be so cool. And ulting immediately. I think that would have been such a better rework than this like lightning bolt thing. Like, you say that he's a huge tactician, but there's nothing that he does that's tactical besides casting a W at long range. There are a bunch of Reddit posts about it. Apparently some people get bugs where his E gets disabled completely for the rest of the game. Nice. Kind of gross. Cheers, man. Enjoy. All right, so Hwei's off the list. Gosh. This new champions when they get released have a win rate curve that looks like this, right? And this becomes larger based on where how difficult the champion is. The scope of it, the range of it becomes much more difficult. So if this, for example, is 50%, it takes people a while to get strong enough, but they wouldn't want a curve that looks like this, that people are still getting stronger as they go to 50. What they want is a curve that looks like this. If I can ever actually get there. They want it to end like here and have like a pretty reasonable curve where you go like this. Now champions like Yumi, theirs would start like way down here and end way up here, and the curve was so steep that you're just like starting to get better at the champion, right? It would go something like this. And they don't want this either, right? This shows that a champion's too complicated. This is the arc that Hwei's going to be on very clearly, right? And you could take this and extrapolate. You say this part, it takes so long just to get used to pressing his buttons and not fumbling your own spells. And then you're going to have this curve that goes like this, right? So your typical like X cubed curve, that's going to look where a super long learning curve and then a delayed refraction back to the top and still growing even as you approach like 54, 55% win rate. But it's going to take 100 games to get there, right? It's going to be insanely long. Teemo's banned. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, we're going to continue with the AP Malphite. Have some fun with Storm Surge. He's getting buffed to next patch too, of course. People are giving up on him too easily because of how complicated. I think he's literally the worst champion they've ever put out. I like the concept, the idea, artist. Apparently he's the one who inspired Jin to go on a murdering spree, right? Like Jin and he were in the same room, and Jin at that point was just a violinist, as far as I know. You'd have to watch more Necrit videos to like really deep dive into that, but it was after watching him go into a like 24-hour painting frenzy that Jin, like after Hwei passed out, and when he woke up, 4 people were murdered from every 4 floor, like, and it just like, you know, obviously being Jin, he was apparently inspired by the number 4 to like make it his murder lexicon. All right, here we go. We're gonna have some fun with this. This is actually a really good team for it. But yeah, like people are just gonna give him up because he's way too complicated. Maybe we're gonna rename. Ready? Hold on. Let me rename the stream. Way too complicated. Now that being said, as long as he's not actually bugged, if it's just like a user error that's coming up while people are making mistakes with button mashing, because people tend to do that, then obviously that can be fixed. But if it's actually bugs, then pros aren't going to want to do it either. But the pros will definitely be able to use it. Like Nemesis has been crushing, right? He's still on like a 65% win rate or something on this champ. I was AFK. Can you stop? Can't have a counter picked. So okay. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think we'll survive. Champions like Mordekaiser, their curve is just like this. You basically master him within 5 games. I mean, I'm not gonna say master, but you get a very good idea of how to play the champion within 5 games, and then it's a matter of just playing all the matchups. But imagine if you can't even get a good idea of what the matchup is like because you're still fumbling over your own keys, right? Hwei literally has 100-game learning curve, and you have to truly be inspired by a champion to want that. And so they're gonna have to overbuff him. He's gonna be absurd, like asininely too strong in pro play, and yeah, and then even in pro, that's gonna have its own issues. Pro, it's gonna scale up because the user will get comfortable, and then the team will get comfortable with the user getting comfortable with it. Like, yeah, all right, this guy always knows exactly the right spell to cast at every single moment. I think people were clamoring for a high skill cap mage, and that's why they made a high skill cap mage, but yikes, it's tough. They're reducing his E cooldown. Wow, that's like his most important ability. I mean, QW is huge, but the EE and really all of the E's. Increasing his EQ flee speed by making it increase per rank now instead of just a flat rate at all times. He is getting reduced by 3 seconds at level. They just want people to win so that they'll keep on playing him rather than play 2 games and then drop him, like me. And I'm someone who like wants to test the limits of what something can do, and Hwei's just so far out of my spectrum. Same thing happened with Riven and Yasuo. It's just like, yeah, okay, this will be a champion that people will like very happily one trick, and you will need to one trick this champion to have any amount of mastery on it. So I'm fairly certain that Yasuo, Riven are 2 of my bottom 5 least played champions, right? So we're like rank 1,000. We have maybe 900 mastery on champions, and very little of it's coming from Riven Yasuo. I think I have more combined points on, well, not even points. I think I have rank 7 on my 50th. I have probably more ranking on my 50th best champion than I do on Yasuo, Hwei, and Riven combined. All right, you guys ready for something fun? From 15 down to 12. That's insane. That's absolutely bonkers. Because now you can comfortably get it off multiple times in the lane phase if you do get, especially when you're talking about level 5, level 6, level 7, when you're looking for those pushes that will coincide with what everyone else is trying to do.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
All right, we're missing Senna. Did this guy actually say he was going to go AFK? And maybe he is. I have to remember to say hi to the Twisted Fate once we get here. Might have some high quality games in store, guys.
Minions have spawned.
Alright, so the plan is to use my ultimate to help this bot lane get ahead, right? These guys want to snowball. Nilo wants to snowball as well. We're trying to stop that from happening. Zeke's Convergence has turned champions like this that normally didn't have a slot. It's going to give them really good, exciting things to do. I definitely want to try it out on Shen as well. Although you lose out on the mana. It looks like it's just a remake. UCS, we're winning. GG. We'll get a game eventually. There's also one more champion that I had some insights on. I'm gonna have to reread all the items to maybe get lucky and find the interaction I was looking for. I think it was Corky. I think it was an AD item that had split pen or something. Hullbreaker now doesn't have the solidarity, the solo stuff. This is a big deal. This is going to make it into pro teams for sure. 5% move speed on a potential split push. 65 AD is really, really high. For 3,000 gold, right? There's only Eclipse is higher at 70, right? Every 5th basic attack against a champion deals 140% base. I don't know why they put this extra thing. Increased to 400 bonus physical damage against structures. I don't mind it being on structures. Blade of the Rune King being a first hit proc is such a big deal for a lot of different champions now. Especially like Aurelia, you can just Q to them and then land the E, although it's kind of off sequence. Clips, Spear of Shojin, Spellcasters. Okay, is this the one? Your non-ultimate abilities gain 15 haste, spell hits grant stacks. Your spells deal 3% increased damage for each stack. Okay, yeah, this is it. Spellcasting ADs. Is it a Spear of Shojin world? Is it a Yorick world? right? Like your ghouls should be proccing this. Can we find a Spear of Shojin build? Let's look at the Tiamat items. Hydras. Passive, passive. They don't reference whether or not he still gets the splash. They're just so bad at writing patch notes. Emo's been banned. Rip. This is really big for Kled as well. Gives all the right stats too. Experimental Hexplate should be really, really good on Kled. This feels so lackluster. It's recommended everywhere, but none of these stats are good enough to justify this price. The first attack against a champion will critically strike and heal. Is it saying critically strike for its own base value or critically strike for this value? Probably this value. As written, this says like you're going to hit and heal for this amount. I don't know. Too much to test. Small indie company can't afford a grammar coach. Tenacity on Wit's End. Wow. I missed that the first time. Hwei is going 15 to 80. Just doesn't get the move speed. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I assume you're right. Steric's Gauge has tenacity. It's like so exhausting, right? When they come out with this and you have to read 80 lines, 80 paragraphs on every single item, and then you have to go back, you have insights, and then you have to come back and reread them a third time to see what you missed. So now it just gives you the tenacity and it makes you bigger now. Okay. And changing the build paths. Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal. Like, and not just that, right? At high levels, everybody has item sets, right? Because you want to streamline your shopping as much as possible. And your item set will just clear your brain. You don't need to see the things that you don't want. You have to go back in, erase everything that you've ever made, and for every champion that you intend on playing, which in Pro you're talking, they probably want an active pool of about 15 champions, you need to make your item set for all 15 of those champions. And that just gets insane, right? These changes are exhausting, daunting to even keep track of. Like the most of the items kept their identity across most ranks, but like the tank items, geez, like these are completely different. This is the only one that's from yesteryear, right? Warmogs is now being this like ubiquitous item that has 5% move speed on it now for some reason, right? This is going to be built all over the place. Alright, so we're going to try to be the Jungle King Teemo. One of the things that happens with the new map, people are going to right-click on the map and just kind of trust where they're going. They're going to be less in tune. Probably now after a couple of weeks, people should be a little bit more in tune with what the map actually looks like. Although if you actually tasked someone with drawing the map on their own, they probably wouldn't be able to do it. But people are going to start getting more comfortable. All right, let's see. Let's go with a shroom build. Question is, which one do we want? Last time we played this, we got up to 38 stacks on Dark Harvest. Aurelian Soul. We've got who's coming to my lane. Is it a Bard mid? No, Bard. No, it's Aurelian Soul. Who's jungling here? Something's weird. Either way, this should be fine. It could be Camille jungle. That's from like way out of yesteryear. It could be Thresh top. Could be Bizarre. It is a normals game, so people are messing around for sure. Taste of Blood would be better for the laning in general. But I don't think I'm going to have an issue getting a fine off here. I don't have the elixirs, which is something I really want to get. Unfortunately, First Strike kind of just doesn't work. It's a jungle Aurelian Soul. All right, so you do have the executes on the E. He's highly gankable in the jungle. But if the clear works, then there's no reason why you wouldn't want to do this. I like to play CDR Teemo and get my QCD under the blinds time and watch them suffer till they realize. Yep. That is definitely an end game goal. It works best when they have 180 carry, right? Where you're just like in the fight, you just stay alive, make sure that you keep their 80 carry from doing anything. Yeah, 100%. Something fun to do, especially with mid lane, where I'm less likely to go in Nashor's Tooth, and in fact, I'm not going Nashor's Tooth. I do want E to be high enough so that it helps me get last hits under turret, which means 2 points and some amount of AP and pen. But you can max Q in mid lane, range versus range matchup. You're getting way fewer auto attacks off. You want the Q, so you get the Q max. You go off and hit like that. So you really just need the 2 points in the E to help you with last hitting. And even then, if you prepare well enough, you should be okay without it. Lots of Trundle, yeah, fantastic on Trundle. Although it was broken for a while, people were able to proc. This was happening to Shen too. The blind and blocking functions weren't working perfectly. You know, small indie game company. Oh, it's not Aurelian Soul. We're playing against Thresh or Camille. He's Aftershock. What is he going to try to do with this thing?
Summoner's Rift.
Hail of Blades Shen, I like this a lot. This deals a lot of damage when it comes out of the jungle. Clear speed got improved ever since last season when they made the changes to help the jungle pet. He's able to clear AoE. He's also very good with Titanic Hydra. I'm not sure which of the fire items he would use now, and also Demonic Embrace is gone. You'd have to go with Riftmaker. Riftmaker was a niche playable. There was like a Riftmaker Demonic Embrace build that you could do on Shen earlier, being last season. I wonder if he's going to try to go for that, or if he's going to go like Hullbreaker plus Titanic, something like this. Hullbreaker is very interesting. It turns Shen into a split pushing threat, and then you can just teleport to your team, and we could very easily play like 1-3-1, but unfortunately we don't have that extra melee to help body for the Brand and the Seraphine. It's going to be very much about me to get my ults off. But anyways, this matchup, assuming it's Thresh, we do outrange him, so we're going to try to get pushing advantage. We're going to get harass advantage, and we should be able to get him whenever we want. I am very upset that I missed that with no competition. They just AFK'd. It is actually impossible to get a game off today. Alright, we've got a stacked up wave. He's got a empowered E. That was a mistake. Just gonna make it as hard for him to his last hit as possible. We're gonna go for this 3-wave crash. We went a little bit too quick for that. And it would help if we actually got our last hits, as always. There's the Aurelian Soul, already low.
First blood.
Kind of tempting. I mean, it is really tempting to just go pick up this blind stack. Oh, he jumped over that wall. My mistake. I think I win this. Not actually positive. It's actually kind of interesting to go for this. Let's try to get this shield off. I didn't dodge it. I missed it. Shen's on the other side. That's okay. It was good. I wanted to test. I want to see. Always happy to test here. Unfortunately, it means that the wave is coming out, but it means that Thresh missed all of this, whereas I'm not going to be missing all of it. Alright, so now I'm just going to take this. Alright, this little instructive right here. We're just going to pull the wave out. Oh, that one's not supposed to sneak forward. It lost aggro on me. Now this also means that these are low enough with a cannon wave that it's actually still going to push out. So our instructive moment watched by the RNG. This also got hit by the turret. Tough to do. It could have stood closer to it. Made sure that I drew the aggro to bring it back out. So now we're just going to turn this into another slow push and turn it into momentum. This is priority. We're going to use our priority for the mites here. We're going to try to stack up this wave. Break the bone plating. Give him a couple of these. Try to do it as the thing is getting low. Alright, Shen has free access to this. Again, I'm being very slow on this. I don't know if I'm just getting spotty internet. Like, that would suck, but could be the case. Shen's going for a gank. I'm going to go support, and I'm going to go start the mites. Oh, don't die, please.
Has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
I actually took a lot of damage from this. I also want to harass them. Right, they're taking so much here. I can just get them to go mid for a bit. And GP took the wave. We get to crash this out. This is very simple rotations. It worked out for us very easily. Camille did not realize that those were all warded, I suppose. Now the Thresh is kind of stuck here. It allows GP to move around. We also get to bounce back. I'll come back over. He can rotate here. Everything's crashing, so it's going to come back to us. So all the lanes are in a perfect spot. Now, as far as this, normally you almost always have to go with the early boots into mid lane matchups because you have to make sure to dodge stuff. But in this case, it's Thresh. Thresh Bard might be trying to do some nastiness to me. So I'm just going to go here, Lost Chapter, and we'll go in and build the Haunting Guys next and Landry's Torment with the backup of these two items. Now Gangplank comes over. Basically he's only missed the 3 melees if he had run over sooner. He did stick around for 2 casters. He could have exchanged 2 casters for catching those 3 melees, which obviously would have been better. Now we're going to hit 6 and we're going to start littering the map, polluting. Can create a stacked wave. Thresh is going to have trouble with wave clearing. It's one of the things that keeps him out of these lanes on top of others. If I really want to fast push, which I could do right now, you put 1 mushroom and 3 hits is enough to clear the wave. And then you can start getting out into the map. It's a little bit better when you have more mushroom stacks. What I'm going to try to do is target all these junctions, right? We want to try to catch as many spots where they may not ward, where they may not know that we've got some amount of momentum. Looks like they've got a kill here. Nice job, guys. And I basically lose nothing, right? So you see me here. I left the lane. The 3 melees did spread out. Good job by Thresh to actually pull away for himself to try to hold this. So it shows that they know something about wave management. But basically that roam around, if a jungler had been there and if I had wanted to swing the tides of battle, I would have been able to still do that. I can still get this wave in. Bot lane is getting free farm and free pressure on the turret. I really just want to get this in. I missed it. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Alright guys, don't do what I'm doing.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
What's up, Ben? How you doing? It's not my internet. It's been the league server. It's been spotty for 3 months. I wouldn't doubt it. Alright, is it just me or are these things dropping aggro faster than normal? Alright, so we're missing Thresh. We're just going to let our team know. I'm going to go for this. Once Shen makes a move towards it is when I'll fast push. So I'm just going to prime things a little bit. This is something you can always do, is just take one hit out of your casters. Just have them ready, set their dead to a spell rotation, which in this case is just going to be the one hit. He says it's warded, which means I'm just going to start tapping this. He's already got the might. Alright, there's a fight for it. We're going to do it. I think he always wins this. Dark Harvest stack. It's not that I'm trying to kill steal, I'm just trying to get that. Getting 6 stacks, right? Gaining 5 is the only reason that you ever want to get 3. Like, you don't need to go for any more than that. The 3 in and of themselves doesn't do that much. It's not a very valuable objective in this game. And they hit really hard. If you haven't noticed, they actually take a while and they hit hard, which is kind of high risk, low reward. Not exactly the type of investment you tend to want to make. We're sitting on a lot of gold. And I will gladly use it once I take away some of their resources here. Again, trying to make this as profitable for us to go to the dragon. Especially since we lost the first one. Dragons are not particularly good. Bummer. A little bit overplayed by me. A lot of it overplayed. Could have flashed in a different direction as well. Could have also had a Q already ready. Gangplank's ult is down. Shen's ult is down. So both of the globals that could have gone for me were being used up top. I could have had an eye for that. I was also haven't shopped in a while, so just not a very good fight in general to be part of. So this is our big item, right? We said that boots is mandatory because you need to be able to move around. You need to be able to get away from ganks, etc. I also have teleport. This is meant to be ignite or exhaust. Chilling and enjoying season 14. Yeah, it's growing on me. You know, mostly because Teemo's strong. Right? Like, if I can have fun while playing what's good. Alright. Bard has made the same move a couple times, so let's just make that a little tougher. I don't think this is Envision. How are you liking the Terminus Aurelia? Yeah, they did give a ton of damage to those same people though. I tend to not want to use my shrooms on the waves like this, but time is money, right? You always want to be able to get on the map as quickly as possible. I'm thinking about this Rift Herald, and I want to be able to get out here quickly. I probably wanted to have more stacks before I did go dive out there. Let me see, Bard is nearby. I don't know what I thought I was doing here. I have no idea. Like, actually, mercy. This is not the play I wanted. Not the play I wanted at all. No! Oh, the burn? Alright, where did he go? He went Unending Despair. Every 7 seconds in combat with a champion, deal 60 magic damage and heal for it. Okay, yeah, so he's going for just sticky, stay in the fights, gain this extra amount of peel. It's not very tanky, though. I don't think it's a particularly great item in general. Damage is in the right direction, maybe overshot a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Alright, same thing as before. I just want to kind of set this up. Is he really just going to kill me? That's what I get for not pressing tab. Okay, and he's got the elixir force that he didn't even need to use. Alright, I'm getting actually annihilated by this guy. 20% tenacity means the blind isn't going to hit for as long. His attacks deal 45 magic damage on hit, and he's got this. Okay, so he just went straight Chad. He's going to take it to me now. Yikes. I mean, I should have known when it's Thresh mid. I should have been pretty aware of what's going on. I've been playing towards everything about getting to this side, you know, getting into the river. I've been taking away some of my own power from the lane, assuming that I would just be fine against Thresh, and that was a mistake. So in a way, I'm glad that it's happening, right? I'd rather test these limits and find out rather than like just come to some conclusion and it be wrong. That's the worst case scenario. We definitely never want to be wrong. Be wrong and test it.
Unstoppable.
You can see how little damage this does right now. Yikes. Think there's anything to do for this Shen? Maybe we get a blind off on Camille here. Well, she gets a triple heal off. She's okay. Brand's coming to clean the day. Lots I can be doing better, for sure. Alright, so anytime you're moving around the map, obviously you want to keep an eye on what's going on elsewhere. There's no reason to be like micro-clicking around unless there's a blast cone or something in particular that you're trying to hit. Always try to get more information about what might be going on, right? See whose cooldowns are down, who has low health bars. Like Brand is about to get a kill right here off of that, potentially. Looks like the shield will come out, he'll be alright. Get some amount of information, better than none, right?
Shut down.
I have to make sure that he doesn't take this. It actually aggroes the dragon. How annoying is that? Yeah, you know what? I should have been paying attention. Why is this guy aggroed again? I probably could have contributed way more to that. I assumed that they were just doing jolly well. Everyone had such a huge lead with that one big Aurelion Soul ult. Oh, Malignance. Oh my god, that thing just auto hits, huh? Level 11, we don't need to worry about the shots anymore. We'll just one-shot everything. It's way too much HP to take for just getting those. And we are pretty good on this side of it. Wait, I'm being vacuumed in. Holy shit. Should be pretty good for us. Lots of stacks too. And we have level 2 on the shrooms. We're gonna be good. Set this up for later. We've also got the haunting guys ready. We're just gonna fast push this, and or not. We'll leave it for the next wave. That thresh build is going to not scale, is what it is. Interesting thing about this game, now with the Herald spawning at 14 and the Mites before that, it gives a much more like natural progression. You don't end up with this huge lull where you get to 17 minutes in the game and you feel like you've played a lot of the game and you're just waiting. Now it means like there's always something up, and I feel like that's a good change. They're hinting in the middle. Okay.
Enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. An ally has been
Even with
slain.
perfect GP and Shen ults there, I don't think we get what we wanted. Just really, really far up. Stay on the side of me, please. That's okay. Oh, he missed the flash and jumped over him. He should be okay, though. The thing's gonna proc, too, right? It's just sticking to him. It'll be interesting to see where else this goes. Yeah, this guy's taking it to me, right? He's just like, yeah, 100% anti-mage damage over time, which makes sense, right? We've got Teemo, Shen, Brand, and Seraphine. That is a lot of damage over time effects. We could see like Kanik, Rookern come out next. Make us all hate our lives. I don't know why I put a third point in this. I shouldn't have.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
I should be tripping over some amount of shrooms here.
Double kill.
Okay, we do have the healing here. Oh, she used the WE rather than the shield. That's a pain in the butt. Yeah, we actually only get one of those casts during this game. Oh, what is that? You don't need to kill that. That thing already did its job, right? It already spotted them. And she doesn't have any mana left. I don't think we get this.
Executed.
Yep. We got griefed. The Seraphine needed to go with double shield. It's okay. It happens. You've had 8 D rankers out of my last 15. Oh, she was a D ranker, but this isn't ranked. We come here to test. We just want to test things without the pressure of trying to play for anything. It's good for my own mental.
An ally has been slain.
I don't think I can. Yeah, alright. I wanted to see if I could exist in this guy's one-shot window, but it's just not going to happen. Alright, she is bleeding. Okay. What did I get stunned again? Okay. That's on me. Boost viewers, go to Doge Hype. Oh, this guy's going to trip on this. Is he going to stop? Oh, he's going to stop. He's going to find himself a little pocket. That's too bad. These items look too similar, yeah?
Your turret has been destroyed.
It's like basically the same item, just backwards. It's literally the same image, but backwards.
Has been destroyed.
Like I said, all their effort is going into the MMO. Alright, all of my efforts are going to go into the Baron Pit now, right? This is everything. We're even on dragons, don't need to care about people stressing out. They still will. People are going to still fumble around dragon pits. Like, it's something to do. Team should push. Team should push. This right here, by the way, this feels like the best support item, yeah? Zazax.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
They're going through the whole thing. Okay. Oh, he's in. He's in. Oh, so close. Ah! I want to lay waste to Demacia. I hear Noxus is recruiting. Look at all the assists that we're getting right here, by the way. Dark Harvest is at 18 stacks. I haven't even had a good game by any measure. It was almost a good ass play, right? But I mean, someone on their team forgot about the 3 shrooms here. But the whole purpose is when you're sieging here, as the whole team should have been, right? She should not have backed for Rod, right? It was just a Rod. It's not that big of a deal, especially as a support. Like, it's increasing some of your ratios here, but it's not that big of a deal. It's much more important to create the tempo advantage. You've got the control of the map. 2 other people are dead. You just took Baron. It's a really, really good time. Free opportunity even to start influencing the map. And because that happened, right, it's especially important that you start controlling this whole area so that you can move freely this way and that way, right? So this area needs to be controlled by you as you go side to side. Should probably pay attention. I don't think I'm going to get more than 2 of those, yeah. I think I've got her. Got you. Is that dead? I don't know if it's dead. It's going to be really low because we had the fully stacked items going on. Alright, team is inevitably going to panic around this dragon, so we'll just start setting them up for that. Interesting new junctions to work with, right? Different paths that people are going to take out of their base to get to X, Y, and Z. Some of the things that are in common are right here, this little junction here, also this one right here, that you can very much take advantage of. That guy dies. Oh, perfect timing for the Thresh to show up. That was never going to work that way. The wolves took the aggro. I think we clean up the fight anyways. It's no big deal. Look at these guys abusing Storm Surge. Even after the round of nerfs, still the best item by a wide margin, I think. Interesting from the Thresh. Alright, so we saw Unending Despair. We saw Balmy Cinder into Unending Despair into this. Also going for, it looks like, Riftmaker next. Fascinating. Yeah, assists are good, right? I'm not trying to get anything else. And frankly, at this stage in the game, I would stop caring. I would want to be responsible for some amount of wave management, but I don't necessarily want to be taking carry gold. Ouch. That's a big trip. No! Don't hit me, Bard! God, this Bard is in my face all game long. Oh man, that's on me though. These things got tripped. We've got this one right here. Ideally, when you're placing shrooms, you absolutely want to have the bookends on this thing done. You also want to have the entry points that would come over distance, right? So if they're coming, they're gonna path this way, so you want to have a shroom right here, and they're gonna be coming this way, which means you want to have a shroom like right here. And ideally, like, this one's a little bit riskier because it might be seen by some control wards, but it looks like I'm gonna have plenty of action coming out of this anyways. Now we start centering things around Baron. This time same thing but different. Over here, which are the paths? This jungle is less changed than the blue side jungle. Could bring a control ward and maybe should. What we could also do is just threaten siege around here while the supers are pushing in, because that's a game-ending threat. You can put, the ideal macro would be to put Gangplank in the bot lane, and everybody else pushing for this Baron, and then start pushing top. Shen can protect the Gangplank. Gangplank can protect the team. Just gonna start putting this on cooldown.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Make sure to run the scuttle away from the mushrooms.
Killing spree. Godlike.
Alright, looks like game's just over, so no big deal, we'll just go end.
Double kill. Shut down. Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
Ugh. Running down, yeah. It seems like I shouldn't be able to get run down, but you know, props to Bard. He probably has Trailblazer, right? I haven't paid attention to items in a while. That's one of the things about new season. So much to do. Taunt misser. This guy is a Shen one trick. Little inanimate spies. What did we end up with the Dark Harvest? 22 stacks. 32-minute game. I mean, definitely when you're over the threshold, it's going to go up. And just once you have these 3 items, it just starts flying, right? It just starts flying up. This came up early. Ultimate Hunter was very easy. The question is whether or not you really need Ultimate Hunter, but it does. Ultimate Hunter combats everybody else's ability to get sweepers. One of the things I didn't talk about was spreading things out enough so that the sweepers can't take out multiple shrooms. Sometimes you want like a little bit of redundancy, so that if they trip on one, you say, all right, they'll turn on a sweeper, or maybe they get hit by another. But you want to have certain paths be redundantly covered, but you want them covered at distance. So for example, I was showing you on the map. Right, there's a wall here, and then you were talking about all sorts of other like channels to get into the jungle, right? And this is their jungle. We know that the paths they're going to take are going to be something like this, right? So if you want maximum coverage against someone like this, then your shrooms, you definitely want this one, you definitely want this one, and then at range, so that one sweeper won't kill both, you make sure that you have something like this. And these 4, basically they can sweep. You're guaranteed to hit one of these 2 and one of these 2. And then you do the same thing in every direction. And this is how you make sure that you have the least amount of shrooms covering the most amount of design space, covering the most amount of designs, right? The most angles, most vectors, we'll say. Because they're going to take the most efficient path, right? Now, if they're clever, or if they have a lot of people on their team that are maybe thinking about it, then they might decide like, hey, there's shrooms, like, let's go this way instead. Take a little bit longer. Let's go this way instead. So things like that you do want to know. You tend to want to pair ward patterns like this, or shroom patterns like this, with something like vision here, vision here, vision here. Or you could even move this one way up so that you have a nice triangle. Makes it really easy for them, or really hard for them to get through this quadrant without you guys having really good information of what's going on. I don't know. Are we just going to be a Teemo one trick? Seems like if there's ever a time. But then again, like if I'm doing this, I'm testing for Teemo. There's no real reason to be doing this in norms. We could play this in ranked. But it gives us some flexibility in the draft to try some other stuff out. Elixir of Avarice. Who's going to use this the very best? So it doesn't let you get an ultimate any earlier. It doesn't let you break any of the rules for when you can get a skill. So you can't put like a 5th point in. If you're level 6, level 7, and you just put the 4th point in Q, you can't put another point in Q. You have to wait. And if you're 10, you can't get a point in your ultimate, which I thought was going to be the best use of it for like Kale, but you just don't get that. So maybe someone like Udyr can use it. I mean, anyone who has a second spell, or even just all 3 spells that want to get usage, it's interesting to see. The extra skill point is sort of fascinating. Who wants to spike at 9? There are actually a lot of champions that have built-in spikes at 9. Is Aatrox? I think Aatrox is one, right? They just switched Neferi to spike at 9 and 12. Okay, so this is going down flat. That's right, they changed this to flat. Gangplank spikes on levels, but again, level 13 is when he gets the big one, so you don't really care about the extra points then. Got hit hard with losers queue at the end of season and ended plat 4. That stuff. The queues are like 5 minutes long. That's too bad. Is it because you lose your mind a little bit, or what do you think causes that? It's the one role I never play. Interesting. Alright, so this person's gonna get caught out. What that means. Some people deserve mental instability. I play AD carry, and just some of these people deserve to be lobotomized. I mean, you can't control the other people though. That's the problem. Okay, so look at this. We've got poison strat going. So Cassiopeia, her E can proc off of anyone's poison. It doesn't need to be her own. So I'm gonna play her like this with a Singed and a Teemo, and I should basically be able to have permanent E's on all game long. It'll be interesting to see what kind of build we want to pop off with. It's probably going to be Presence of Mind and Comet. Comet works really well when you're chasing people with your E. I tend to want this. Scorch is for laning phase, and you don't want that against Azir, so I'm not going to need that. I think we'll be all right this way. Phase Rush is also very interesting, lets you kite a lot more, but again, we've got multiple people with slows here. All right, let's see it. How good can Cass be? Nidalee, Azir. So we're definitely gonna want boots early. Get it? We need movement speed early. So the question is whether or not we're gonna do something like Cosmic Drive. Cosmic Drive helps us play the game a lot, but it definitely slows down everything else that we're trying to do. I don't think we need to do Rylai's because everybody else on our team has slows. So I don't think we need to build for that. We're just gonna go Rod of Ages into Seraphs. This is just definitely an MR game. Alistar is going to be where? Top lane? Assuming this is Janna, Vayne bottom. It could be Janna in a solo lane. Could be Azir top, actually. We've seen some of that. Doesn't really matter. For us, it's definitely MR. It's actually maybe double MR. I'm going to double. Because so much of the heat that's going to come through our lane is going to be magic damage, so we want to make sure that we're set against that. We could also could make an argument for an early Merc Treads. But these two don't have stuns, right? It's not, these aren't the ones that we really care about, and it doesn't really do anything against Alistar or Janna, so screw that. I lied. Banshee's Veil would be much better. Banshee's does not work against Alistar though, because he's still going to guarantee his headbutt hit. I also got really unlucky, hit a streak of bot level 30 accounts and D rankers. See, that's the problem. So you have your D rankers, you also have people who bought accounts who are just naturally D ranking, right? Like that happens. And the thing is, you can't control that. You can only control you. So in all of those moments where you want to get frustrated, first off, don't type. Typing at them takes away thinking time. If it did nothing else, that would be enough of a reason to not type, right? And when you type, it takes all thoughts that you could be processing for insights, and it moves them to your fingers and keyboards and keystroke actions, regardless of how quickly you type. It's generally a negative behavior for yourself. It definitely detracts your teammates for distractions, especially if there's anything negative to say. So there's actually a video, probably the best video that I ever put together. I'll just link it for you right now. The guy was in a negative headspace. So use this. Take a peek. Let me know what you think.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Rod and Tier. Okay. What's up, Medusa? How you doing? I don't know what happened this season, but I was doing fine at 1.1k LP, and now I can't break 800 barrier. I mean, a lot of things are changing, right? You also have more pros in solo queue playing, which makes the cap harder. The pool is higher. They're taking LP away from the people near the top, so that's going to happen fairly naturally. You'll watch it out. Oh, you're playing Scion? Nice. All right, we have a Alistar who has a very difficult time stopping Singed, has a very difficult time farming, So this proxy strat is going to turn into extra plate damage here for the Singed. I wouldn't have dropped that ward. Now they know about it. They can ping it. They get the extra pressure. You should still proxy here. Nothing wrong with proxying. You can even die, and the death costs him more than it costs you by the sheer nature of the beast. Looks like he might try to do it now. Now he's in a little bit of an awkward spot. A lot of people will go tier here first, just start stacking up the mana, but I like to be able to have a little bit of kill pressure. And every time that this Azir puts this E on cooldown, or his W on cooldown I should say, it does give us a window to go after him. Now this is something I should have done earlier. E him in the face, he can't get the same attack back on me with his soldiers. We should be able to create net positive. By attacking him and him not attacking me, I will always get the wave push. And that is something that is invaluable for hitting these early level 2s. If you watch Chovy VODs, right, he always gets that early attack off. To make sure that the wave is with him. We're actually looking for an all-in here. Gonna start using this, get a little bit higher. You want fleet footwork, which makes sense. Now the soldiers can proc all of these things. It's a very common thing. Alright, now he's gonna be really uncomfortable playing with the lane up here. I don't know that I'll have a jungler that cares enough to come visit, but this is the sort of situation that is premium, right? I'm feeling really good here. As soon as this move speed wears off, I can play a little bit more aggressively. Still hovering on the left side. I'd like to get a little bit more momentum and cover here. That's actually kind of risky to go for that ward even. Nidalee is in the bot lane, which means we're comfortable to go for this fight. I could even flash on this guy, and I think I'd be okay. He's pretty low mana. There we go. Juked it out. We're in good shape.
An enemy has been slain.
That was a miss. I missed it the first time. Kind of rage cast it the second time. He's going to go for this cannon. He's going to die for it.
Executed.
Nice try, nice try. Oh, help, help, help. This is something you want to do. If you're a support and you roam to mid lane, the goal should be to get the wave prio, right? Thresh has nothing to go for down in bot. It is a free time to go and get whatever he wants, and he gets this push off, and like Azir's going to try to hold on to this, but if you can help your laner to actually push this, then you can actually get so much advantage from it. All right, what do I actually want here? The moats are very interesting for the build clarity on champions like Cassiopeia, right? It helps you get that extra little like half item to make you just a little bit better. What's up, Fire? How you doing? I hit my peak mid last season, but I want to peak in jungle, so I don't care about mid. Yeah, I hear you. Alright, this guy's kind of stuck, so now if I perma-shove, I think he's out of options. And if he shoves like this, now he's in a lot of trouble. Good job by Nidalee coming here. So Nidalee stepping up forces me to actually not harass the guy and gets him a free teleport, right? So you see how the Nidalee just stuck around just for a moment, and it was enough to actually make some pressure happen. Now they're level 6. They could easily scoop me into a Nidalee spear, so I have to be careful. That guy actually could have stepped to the other side of the pool and then used the E to shimmy to his soldier. Alright, this is free for the Teemo if they want. Keep an eye on Nidalee on this side. Hwei's going to be pushing to me. That hit. Did not hit. It hit. Alright, so I have Flash R available. Let's trim this down a little bit before we fight. Still want to stay on the left side of the lane. Don't want to be caught to a Nidalee here. This is definitely a window where I could start playing aggressively, but Teemo's like got something to do, right? So I can't rely on Teemo coming, which is why I'm not playing aggressively. It's not that it's not a spot where I could, but I need to get more information about exactly where Nidalee is at.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Rampage. Shut down.
Nidalee's bot again. Jungle's going to be interesting with all these changes. Alright, so we go Lost Chapter, and now we start building out the Rod of Ages. We go with health first, we make sure that we're comfortable with this. Want to make sure that we're protected in our lane state, we're scaling up. Azir has much more kill potential right now. If we just fight, Cassiopeia wins, it's not even close. But Azir's ability to start a fight that a jungler can finish, or a roaming support, is much more dangerous. That's why we're going to get the extra stats early. Pulled the trigger a little bit early there.
Executed. An enemy has been slain. Double kill.
Man, bot lane is having a party. Alright, it's Nidalee. This is not particularly great, but it will see her most common path to jump over that wall. Just gonna chill right here, see if anything happens. One of the things that you can do that people don't use nearly enough is to just jump outside of Fog of War. Ooh, a little flash. Okay. So he gets the kill. Oh, and I would have been spotted. This would have been terrible. In fact, it's still kind of scary for me, and probably sort of inting to even take that. I also used the blast cone, which would have been my way out, and Teemo was nowhere close. So that's a bad decision. Don't do that in your games. The one play I can do to an Azir that's trying to shuffle me is to like zone him in the face. That was Teemo. I assumed it was the Nidalee. That's my fault. I could have just flashed the scoop. If Nidalee were paying attention, she probably would have killed me. There's a lot of things. This ward, past 30 seconds, not good. Not a good turn at all. I think double support item is broken as hell. Like, I've been playing Malphite top. You win the lane with AP against any range champions. You can scale. And in either case, you don't want to be taking farm in the late game, so you just let it fall to other people, and then you go and get double support item. And you just stack it. It's something that was already good, and it got even better with Zazax. Well, all of them are solid. We're strong on bot side. They're already winning the 2v2 here, and I'm feeling good because if they aggress on me, then Teemo's here to help. I say, not always the case, but... Alright, they're going for the thing. Let's do it. She is chunked. I don't have flash. Okay, nope, yeah, I don't want that. I just wanted to do a little limit test, see how much damage we could get off, but without an AP item, that was never going to be enough. Get an eyeball. That's interesting. So something you can do against Alistar, if you have an ability, and Alistar should do this too, right? If you're playing support, you can just constantly press your W on somebody, and if they ever jump into range, let's say it's a Hwei who has a Q channeled, right? They have Q channeled, just press your W on them, and if they ever dash in, you will immediately bop them out, right? And in situations like those, it's very useful for buying yourself time. You don't need to miss your click against someone who's dashing around. Same thing can be done if there's an Alistar in your Singe. Just have your E clicked on that person, and if they ever try to headbutt you, you'll immediately fling them over your head. So you can get some extra hits in like that. I would have gotten much more of those if I were better.
Enemy rampage.
This would be an awfully long time for Vayne Janna to be sitting around, so I think we're good to step up now. Interesting. There's one spot. Awkward. Alright, you know what? We see the Teemo here. We're gonna try to make a play with this Teemo. The man's got ideas. Let's do it.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy is unstoppable.
Go for the Alistar at the very least. Oh, he's Storm Surge. Oh my gosh. This guy's cooking. Storm Surge, Sorks, that makes sense why Singed is dying so much. I was like, how is Alistar ever getting these kills? Okay, there we go. We've got our reason. They know about this, apparently. Okay, Teemo Shroom coming to the rescue. Someone's teleporting. I think we go here then. Ooh, this guy's panicking. Alright, it's actually a good time to teleport top. They're all so weak, they almost definitely backed. Which actually did us a little bit of a favor there. This is fine. It brought some heat up to the top side. We get the dragon for free. No big deal. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting getting used to just buying moats, right? Like, you just have a little bit of extra gold here now and again. We have to be really careful with this double Storm Surge. People, we need to realize that we need to adjust a little bit. Banshee's Veil might be in the game plan here. Doesn't work against Alistar, but at least it stops one of the hits, and since he's AP, that's actually a lot, right? It also stops Nidalee from Spear from hitting. It stops Zir potentially from scooping you. And generally, it's just Cosmic Drive. I don't really see enough people to be able to push up here. Yeah, that's what we didn't want here. God, that's so much damage. And it's a snowballing item. Like, why, you know, this extra 30 gold, it's like collector on crack. But yeah, double support items insane, especially Zazax, right? It's very scary.
An enemy has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Enemy is dominating.
We thought about this. I mean, we did this Storm Surge on Malphite. You just have so much, but Alistar's just like, hey, I get to do it way more often. I don't need to wait nearly as long.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
That's too bad. There's a vein up here. You're just dead.
Team has destroyed a turret. An ally has been slain.
It's okay. Happens. All right, we've got our Seraphs, and it is upgraded. We'll be all right.
Your turret has been destroyed. turret.
We could easily go for this. We've got good shroom coverage. We've got good control wards. We absolutely want this. Singed is already pushing bot. Don't not go here. Take this. We deal so much damage. Like, they're going dragon. Please just go here. They're so late, right? Like, they are completely out of position. They'd have to go through into this area to stop us. Emo. Guys, like, dragon actually sucks. Okay, well, he's hitting it now, so now it's done. Hey, we have a jungler. Whoopsies. 4-man knock-up. That's the Darius pull of dreams right there. Hey. Nice. Got you. All these guys are poisoned, by the way. I was hoping he'd knock me over. These guys could have stuck around way more. This guy also already yeeted out, going for blue buff. Tends to be the case, by the way, if people on your team don't know what Baron is, then they tend to not use it very well either, and you shouldn't force it. If you're playing in solo queue games and trying to climb, absolutely don't force this. If your team doesn't show that they know what it's going to happen once they get it, then they're not going to know what to do. And that's why they think it's weak. That's why they don't want to do it, right? All of those things kind of build into each other. All right, this is scary. This is just always going to be scary, although it's going to turn into single target assassination damage later, and then he's just going to rely on his ultimate for tanking. We'll see whether or not he's able to keep that up. The yellow ward, we have the Teemo, so I think creating more redundancy in the wards is going to be nice. I think we should be able to control space much better than them in general. But as long as we have people doing kind of random things, then it's always going to be a little bit difficult. Speaking of which, no one's in mid lane again. I guess we're just going to have to go here. We'll have to split farm when people do show up, but can't really leave mid. We have Baron. We should be absolutely trouncing these guys for doing anything like this. It's obnoxious. I missed a couple clicks there. I don't think the Singed has any intention of fighting. It looks like, and there's no torment here, so he's not building like the item, the reason why this champion is good right now. So we're in a bit of a sticky situation, and I'm not good enough to maximize what we're getting out of this. Oh, he's using shrooms for John. No. That is something. That's a foul, man. If you're playing Teemo jungle, never, ever, ever use your shrooms on camps. Like jungle, like epic monsters, the dragon, sure, but camps. All right, Rod of Ages is online. Love that new bloom effect. So good. Nice, there's one threat gone. That's such a big one too. Not gonna lie, that was a little bit nerve-wracking. .418 bot lane, 418 jungle, yeah. Happens. Nidalee committing a foul. She's on the eastern quadrant of the map while the Baron is available. This is something you can never do as a jungler, guys. Are we shopping? As long as anyone's shopping, and specifically Varus, then we just need to do it as a team. This Thresh should not be committing Harikari here. That could have gotten him killed. It didn't, but there was literally nothing to gain going this way. So now we push up. We'll let Singe do the flanking. He should push up the sides and then rejoin us from a T position, right? Just kind of come in like this. See whether or not that happens. I'm just going to focus on the big one. I'll let the other guys get the other ones. I'm going to save my resources, save my fingers too. You know, that's a resource. Your mental tax, 100% is a resource. Dopa infamously called it the stack, right? The mental stack. Nice pick. That's what she gets, right? So I'll do the big one. That's my job. It's got negative MR, so it's really easy for... Uh-oh. We're all popped in here. Make it as difficult as possible for this guy to move. And target, right? If they even think about missing... Oh, there might be an RQ. I forget what the interaction with R flash is. They changed it. Okay. Yeah, you can't just make it turn around. You used to be able to do like a backwards facing R flash and make it stun because they're facing a different direction as you, and that was completely broken. And also, like, why can some Cassiopeias do this? Why is it only something that one tricks are gonna know? Team should be here 100%. got you.
Slain an enemy. You have been slain.
Is that Shirelia's? Yeah. Makes sense. GG though. Jack Show. After 5 seconds of combat with a champion, become empowered, increasing your bonus armor. Why not just go Terminus? Oh, he's got Terminus. Never mind. He's just doubling up. I like this build, right? This idea of a tanky marksman. This is going to fulfill a lot of people's endgame fantasies of being able to 1v9 from that type of position. I actually think it's pretty cool. Well, so loser's queue and losing doesn't mean the same thing. Loser's queue is for people that need reformation, right? They put people, it's a way to penalize. It's a longer queue time. You have to wait for other people. You're also with other people who are in that, so you tend to get more negative games. The bad news is that, you know, it sucks that it's happening for sure. The good news is that you can change it, right? If you get honored, if you do things, if you're in control of yourself, largely comes from just positive affirmation, mindset, breathing. Make sure that you watch that video, right? It kind of goes over a lot of the things that you can do, and that's the most common thing that I coach. There's in order of like least to most. Least is improving your mechanical speed, right? People that, you know, it's really hard and takes a lot of work to get in to improve reaction time, click speed, things like that. That's what we do the least. More than that, specific champion mechanics, right? Knowing how exactly which pixel to ward from or where to stand as Kayn so that you can go through, we do that. Then it's like general champion macro or like game macro. And then more than anything, it's just mindset, right? This is the number one thing that holds most people back. They have great mechanics, and if they're holding back, it's usually because of that. And the good news about that is the easiest thing to change. Roger Federer was probably the most famous modern athlete that just decided that they were going to be better. They just decided like, hey, this isn't who I want to be, right? I want to be better about it. I don't like breaking rackets on the court. I don't like throwing a tantrum, because when I do, my opponents get stronger. Now in League of Legends, they don't see it, but instead of your opponents getting stronger from having a negative reaction, you make your teammates weaker. It is proven that your teammates, people around you, are affected negatively by your stress levels when you express your stress. So if you can bring it down, then you can get it. And a couple great tools. For one, every time you recall, take a deep breath. 4 seconds in, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. And that box breath, you can accomplish that on your trip from lane back, or from fountain back to lane. And just by doing that, you can help your cortisol levels come back down. Think of it like the RPMs on a car. You accelerate when things get hot. And if you don't decelerate and come back down to a good coasting speed, then you end up burning out the engine. You just can't live at 5,000 RPMs all the time. That's the best way to describe it. If you do, you end up melting you overwork the engine, which is exactly what's happening in your brain. You're overworking the engine, and you need to give it breaks. League does have build-in times. It's not as easy as tennis. Tennis, you play a point, and then you get 25 seconds where you can fiddle with your strings. You can towel off. You can do stuff. Those things are not just about wiping the sweat, and moving your strings has nothing to do with the mechanics of a tennis shot. It's all about just giving you something to do that lets you like reframe your mind, come back down after the intensity of that one, and then you can bring it up to optimize for the times when you really need it. Hopefully that tip works. If there's nothing else you gain today, gain that. You are in control. You are the one who can make the decision. And if those steps work, and you wanna see how deep the rabbit hole goes, come by. We'll go into it further. And if you're having trouble putting it in, like, sign up. First class is free, right? It doesn't hurt anybody to go in, see what the sports psych element is like, and come by, get a coaching session. You can go to gigagamingacademy.com and sign up now. All right, we're gonna have deals for the 2024 season. That reminds me, I still need to update the 2023 deals. You're playing on a Smurf right now, seeing if the Qs are better. Playing Teemo. Is it ranked? I would highly, highly recommend. I mean, if you're already in the game, don't stop. Can't stop that if you're in a game. But if you feel like you're tilting, or if you feel like you're in loser's queue and you're losing control of how games are going, it's often a good idea to take a break. Just get that break in. I haven't thought at all about Galio with new items, although I suspected that he was going to have a very nice time. Storm Surge AP, okay, interesting. This is the item I was looking at. Kanik Rookern, just a massive amount of MR. Gain a big shield. This will affect the ability to do everything. Do I want it? I want it. What else could we play? Kind of pop off on Fizz. We could check out the LeBlanc. Yeah, let's go with LeBlanc. She's a lot of fun.
The black rose shall bloom once more.
People are going fleet footwork again on her, sustaining through lane phase. Let's try something a little bit more exciting. We're going to try to pop off with gold. Let's see if we can have some fun with it. Get our LeBlanc hands ready. We want to walk up. I'm going to tap the Katarina once early. Make sure that I get the push. She should just be letting me get the push for level 3. Try to all-in me at level 3. She can go for a QEW auto attack, step onto the thing, E me again, get a second one, and then go and chase down from there, get a big chunk. With Ignite against mages, that's often good enough. You can go for one chunk in between. What I want to do is create a stacked up wave that crashes on wave 3. So I want to have a 1 minion lead at all times. That's why we're going to go for that first hit right away. We'll see whether or not she knows how to, the difference between queuing me versus queuing the wave, right? If she queues me, then it's a single target spell. My minions will aggro onto her. Her minions will see her getting hit and they will aggro onto those minions and create a push. So she has a little bit of pushback in that way. Not that she wants to do it. She really wants the wave to come to her and she wants to be hitting level 3 before me. And I don't want that. I want to be hitting level 3 as the wave's crashing so that I can either roam or I can go and actually fight her back when she does go for a dash. What I don't want is the crash to come too early. If the rebound goes too early, then she's going to hit level 3 on the cannon coming back. And then I won't be able to fight her. I won't have access to enough. I'll basically just have to play like a pansy and step away from any imminent fights, which is not what I want. I want to take these fights. Also, we have Udyr, who's going to have Prio up in top lane. He's one of the preeminent fighters, even against Darius. I haven't tested this recently, but Udyr used to win on Q. If you took your Q and empowered the Q against the Darius, you would win the fight. He would overreact. He would chase you past the minions, and he would isolate himself. And once he did that, you put the empowered Q in his lap and hit him for 60% of his damage. See whether or not we get something like that. Now, oftentimes we would go... We're going to do it. We picked up the Time Warp Tonic. It may be for better or for worse, but it is there. We're going to use it. I have to be really, really cognizant of her level 3 spike, though. Right, not having the extra HP means that she's that much more lethal. Interesting change to the map right now. There's a little bit more risk coming in this way. You do have to step out further to catch this bend, but it also is easier to step out, right? So it's a very, like, this is a preeminent position that you want to take advantage of. Enemy team can get here. Neither team can get to this dot bush faster than the other. There is no line that gets you here without being seen. So some people might step out trying to get there at the same time. They're saying Hey, the pros and cons, there's not much of a con. If I see them, I can back out, but if I get in unseen, I can go behind this line right here, not get seen from here. That can be exploited with a path like this. That is something that is the thing I'm looking forward to most, and what teams should be doing 100% first week at LCS is new and innovative gank, level 1 gank strats. Take advantage of the new map. The people who are able to piece together new spots are the teams that are going to have advantages. Alright. Let's go and hit her once. Go. There we go. Minions pull over. Perfect. Just want to maintain this like slight minion lead. That's it. Hey, all right. Talking about servers being laggy, I definitely leveled up my W there. Game did not seem to think so. Could have gotten the Q off on that for sure. Alright, so this is what we're talking about. I want this wave to come in at the right time. No sooner, no later. I want to be able to hit 3. Now I've hit my 3, so I'm comfortable. I'm able to fight her off a little bit stronger, and I get to stack this wave, and now I'm going to roam with a huge wave under her turret. Oopsies. She can't take this. Now look at the huge H. What? Like I said, she can't take this. That's a foul. You know what? I want a really big shot, so I'm going to pop this elixir here. We're going to take this on. Next wave, we've got the cannon. We stick around for cannon. She back. She back. What did she buy? She's got items. We need to just leave. This was maybe a mistake. I could have actually kept it and done more with it the second time around. What are people doing on her? We'll just do this. Ludens seems like a reasonable thing. Storm Surge is probably just best, but Ludens will also give me the mana to be able to replenish everything. Could just go Tear. Never gonna go Malignance. But we're gonna go Storm Surge after Ludens Companion here. Then maybe like, I don't know. Now she's in another rough spot right here, right? She can't really step up to this. She's risking dying at all times to me. She just has to try to push with whatever she can get here. I should go for an auto and then maybe go for the hit. Is she piecing out? Has she had enough? This should be a free dragon for the Briar. was a mistake by me. Hopefully my team can clean this up, although I may have just given Cat like the perfect opportunity to go in. That was just my personal hand fumbling. But Briar like could have just dashed over this wall rather than showing over this. That's 100% something that you don't want to do. You don't want to reveal the fact that you're starting the dragon. You can do it as a head fake, right? You could come over here, walk through it, and then dash over the wall. But walking right through vision is something that you want to avoid at all times. It looks like we're going to get the Blade of the Rune King version here. It might be Nashor's Tooth still. This guy's low on mana. We can just tax him some resources here. Oh, we put a spell on cooldown? Let's do it then. That's that. I could have changed my path based on what was happening to not let them do that. It's okay though. Is Blade of the Rune King completed? This is a cannon wave. I'd like to pop this cannon before I go anywhere. That was something we knew was not going to come out well. Pop the cannon, get out would have been fine. Well, yeah, this guy's a little bit lost. That's okay though. Getting gapped, huh? Dead right here. Shield? Where's your shield? You're supposed to be putting more points into that. We're gonna use this charge for the move speed. There's no thing here. Yeah, back away, he says. Back away. Don't touch my farm. I'm gonna come here and share the farm with him. The reason you do this, by the way, you make sure that you maximize the amount of experience in the game. He just missed that. It looked like he did. Maybe we actually minimized it. Me talking about it made me slow to the uptake. Right, this guy, the wave was being pushed in mid. That's something I want to be paying attention. That's one of the reasons why you don't want to spend any time pinging anybody, right? Now, I'm thinking about Udyr rather than thinking about what's happening here. Ideally, Udyr just comes middle. And if you're in this position where you're a solo laner and your lane gets gibbed and the guy pushes you in, yeah, just like rotate, you're fine. Wow, one hit 40% of my HP. Yikes.
Shut down.
Little trick right there, you can step outside the base. Anyone that has a dash Yone like this with a recoil, you can always go in. If you're waiting for gold, if you're waiting for health, you're waiting for a charge, right? You can use this, dash back in, get the charge, they refill, and then you go to step out. And just gives it, kind of gives you like that permanent boost. How low are they? They're baiting for Gragas, okay. Easy. Preemptive gaming, guys. Make plays. I think she's dead. It's burning. You know what? I'm going to give Jinx solo gold on this. She's doing great. She's a big carry. I don't need to be part of this to get the big benefit. I've also already got Ludens in base, so I really gain very little from actually being a part of that. Now Jinx should be pathing over. We should be giving this dragon. They should be pathing over and playing for Rift Herald and for the cleanup over here. I should be using my W to move around the map. God, this guy keeps on casting his E without actually having the finish. That'll be lethal.
An enemy has been slain.
Yikes.
An ally has been slain. Rampage.
Pike's looking for me right now. There it is.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Now, I'm definitely not getting the maximum, right? And my CS is hurting. I'm trying to roam around. There's way more on the table available. Gonna have to see whether or not we can make something happen. What do we want? Banshees might be a kind of interesting option here. Now, LeBlanc doesn't get to take advantage of the best items on the patch, right?
Your turret has been destroyed. Unstoppable.
All right, other interesting thing about LeBlanc is the changes to the map here. So I'm going to go pick off this LeBlanc, or this Caitlyn. Dead? Not dead. Very low, though.
Shut down. Enemy double kill.
Yikes. It's problematic.
Your turret has been destroyed. An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
Well, let's see if Caitlyn commits another foul here. Alright, she's coming right down here, so she is. There's her spell. Ah, she got enough of me. I just flash on this. Whoa, I went into it. I didn't think it was in range. Oh my gosh. Speaking of fouls, mental fouls, nothing compared to just clicking poorly. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, she's very dead here.
An enemy has been slain. Shut down.
Nice. Oh, not nice. Yes, nice. All the above. We gotta go set this wave up. We do want to be part of these fights, but I absolutely need to fix this wave before it becomes a big, big loss for us. It's gonna be triple stacked by the time we touch it? No, it'll just be 2, right? Now this is actually just enough with that one melee here, and the fact that it's going to be on this side, it's going to be a pretty close to going split even. It's going to have to do with the levels of the people in the game, right? We've got more. Do we have more? Yeah, we do have more levels, so it still might push out. It's going. This one will obviously come back to us, but the rest, we might see a little bit of consolidation just because of that, because of the position of the wave, right? Where they're going to reconvene. Super aggressive. That was not even going to come close. That wasn't even a limit test. That was just a bad play. I shouldn't have shown, right? They just put this here. They are very, I would say, fairly obviously going to come try. Big chunk on the carry. See if we can do it again. Cat's nowhere to be seen, so we can actually start taking an advanced position here. Looks like they're out. Pike's trying to get in. Terminus, Blade of the Rune King, and Titanic. My goodness, if this build is good on Cat, then I think we got problems. Just spell and cooldown, thank you. Holy shit, look how much damage that dealt. That's actually insane. There's no way. It hit? Oh my god, it hit. Alright, this is going to be fine. We've got a stacking wave coming up. No problems here. We're going to take care of this eastern quadrant, give us control of the dragon pit, give us a chance to also support the pushes happening to my left and to my right, right? So this is absolutely where I want to keep control of. For bot while they push mid, perfect.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. You have been slain.
God, that Katarina build. My goodness, that is so fascinating. I need to go check it out. Katarina.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Shut down.
I mean, Terminus alone, right? Alright, so Terminus 48, Titanic, Lichbane, overstatted. Lichbane again, doing the best. Terminus. Okay, so it's a known quantity. People are building it, and it's not doing great. It's not doing like absurdly well. It's always interesting. I love when these new builds come out. And maybe this is just not even new build, just the way you should play, or maybe haunting guys for the amount of time you're in combat. It's much more of a bruisery, like last longer in fights. All right, strat chat 2443. Is this wave going out or coming back in? What do you guys think? Well, that better not hit. Never mind, she's got enough to one shot. We're good, we're good, we're good. With Katarina dead means we actually just get to push them. We don't even need to take dragon. This is a mistake a lot of people will make, is take this lead and turn it into a dragon, but it should just turn into more. But it does mean that we absolutely need to... You do want to stay alive. You don't want to risk any deaths at that point. All right, this minion will come in here. I'll take the spawns. Nothing will come down here. We're just going for a... No, thank you, Katarina. I don't want what you're selling. Not inting for the inhib. Although 2 inhibs would be lethal in any kind of like real macro game. Not in a real macro game now, are we? Oh, thank you. You didn't need to do that.
An enemy has been slain.
All right, lethality's starting to stack up a little bit here.
Double kill. Triple kill. Shut down.
All the action's up in the top lane. Caitlyn used her heat on me. We've got 4 people dead. Next person's gone. So the reason we don't recall right here is because we don't need to, right? Like, we've got enough heat that's going to go in and turn this into a push or a win if we have a wave anywhere, right? So this is enough of a minion wave. We can just skip over this. Every last bit of heat matters. It all adds up. This one obviously an easier end call because we just had that wave coming. But would have been a potential for a way. Oh my god, Jinx is styling. We're just going to let her cook. Wasn't one shot. I think I missed one of the clicks. I must have. Unless he was casting his W right at that moment, which I didn't see. Oh, Darius pulled the aggro. Not enough. Yeah, so 4 and 10, 4 and 10 is going to happen, man. It's going to happen. There's going to be people that are lower. You have to think about every time, every death, what is their death worth? And, sometimes people are just inting. Sometimes people are just bad, but 4 and 10 is easily within the variance of a normal game. Easily. It sounds like you're getting kind of frustrated at what amounts to small problems. And largely... You have control of the game. Like, if TF Blade were in that game, would they win? Ask yourself that. And like, you might think that's kind of ridiculous to talk about that guy in particular, but it's something that's in your control. You can be mechanically near perfect. You can be the best version of yourself, and the best version that you are is actually probably very good. And I don't know what rank you're talking about, but whatever it is, people tend to have this like range, and the lower rank you are, the bigger your range of what your best and what your worst is. And people at pro should be like very close to this, where it's just a matter of squeezing out that last 1%. They're already very good. They're trying to get that last bit, which largely comes from adrenaline, from mental state, things like this. You get to control that, and you get to narrow down this scope. So if you're getting frustrated about things, first off, take a break. 100% take a break. I appreciate you hanging out, but it's a good idea. Just distance yourself from it. Take the positive side of the idea of touching grass, like going outside, take a deep breath, look at something far away, and just make up a story about what might be happening in that far away place, the furthest thing you can see. And just imagine what's going on there, and just taking your eyes, it's good for your eyes to undo the focus that happens here, because a lot of gamers get short-sighted because they're just constantly looking at this length, right, from screen to here. That's it. You want to stretch your eyes. It's good to be outside. It's good to take breaths. It's good to take a moment where you're just not doing anything competitive, and you just let your mind wander. And those sort of resets are super, super healthy. It's why at the academy we force people to take a break after best of threes. Play a best of 3, right? Win, done. Loss, done. Win, done. Take a break. Force yourself to do it, because it's really easy to just queue. And without realizing, mental exhaustion starts bringing you down and weighing you much closer to your lower limit. And it's harder to realize because it's a team game where you might not even realize you're making mistakes. You might realize that you're missing mental cues and things like this that become a huge detriment to your overall performance. And you want to mitigate those factors. So my 2 things: 1, watch that video on controlling your emotions. 2, swap to best of 3s. Focus on what you can do. Work hard. Play. Try to win 2 out of 3. If you win 2 out of 3, you climb. And then take a break. And force yourself to take those breaks, because it's good for your body. It's good for your mind state. It reduces burnout. It reduces stress. There's no risk of losing an account, for nonsense that isn't you, right? Saying things that you'd say aren't you. You wouldn't do that in real life. So why does the virtual league player do that? You want to avoid those things. Anyways, that's going to be it from me. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I will be live again tomorrow. Definitely on Friday, and I'm excited to see the launch of the leagues. The first games should be kicking off, if not this weekend, then next weekend. I believe China starts this week, though. So we already see some games. office equipment. Wow, they're getting really precise with this stuff. La Ligue Française, nice. France has its own league. France has been one of the top performing. There we go. Saturday starts the LCS. Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. We've got a couple new teams. Got to see how they're building out. We see this guy DSG made it into the league. No, this has got to be Academy, right? Interesting that they're getting a. Oh, this is also Academy. Okay. Interesting that they're getting a primetime spot. Look at this. Good for them. Good for them. I think this is important to see, to get some more viewership, especially around this team. Especially around this team. All right, I will be there. So definitely Theater Thursday. We'll be looking at some of the pro reviews. We'll be looking at what the pros are doing and trying to explain what's going on from a coaching point of view and from a mental competitive point of view. And then Friday, Fast Friday, bring your game reviews. All right, and we'll go over them. 5 minutes, change your game completely. So that's it for now. I appreciate everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you next time. Keep it surreal. Peace.